Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here. So I've made a few videos about a new hobby that I got into, which is RC cars, RC trucks. And I started off, I bought an Arma Creighton, and then I got a few others. And when I first looked into it, the biggest names were Arma and Traxxas. So I wanted to try Traxxas. I ordered a sledge. And I was so impressed when I had taken it apart, especially like the differential gears were so much beefier. I mean, it's really a stronger made vehicle, and for somebody that's driving it, buying it for bashing, etc., it's going to be a better, more powerful, more resilient. Well, maybe not more powerful until you make it more powerful, which I'm going to talk about right here today. But it's going to be a stronger vehicle. I've done everything I can to make the Armas stronger. I'm going to show you that too. I got hardened steel gears, which I also did on the Traxxas. So I bought a sledge, brand new, because that seemed like the most comparable to the Creighton, which is kind of my style. What I wanted to do is to be able to bash it. And I redid all the differentials. These are some limited slip differential parts, but they make hardened steel gears. And the one set of gears for one differential is 30 bucks. So I got 4 of them, which was 120 bucks. But they also just recently started making a stainless steel housing. So this isn't aluminum, this is stainless steel. So this is a really strong housing. And of course I ordered a couple of these. There's another one here and I have 2 more on the way, because I like to have a set in it and then a set ready to go if something breaks. But hopefully with the stainless steel differential housing and these hardened steel gears, which have been doing me well. This is my second set of these also, and I have a set in it right now, and they've been doing great. But if you see, I can show you the difference between them. The only thing is you have to use the shorter housings that don't fit the limited slip. Like, let me show you the difference between them. So this is one of the shorter housings. This is an actual Arma. Yeah, this is an actual Arma. And then this is an aftermarket, but it's slightly taller. You can't really tell with the gear on, but I'll take it off and show you. But this is, so inside of this is just the gear. There's no limited slip. There's no spacer to pass the limited slip, to space out the limited slip. Like, see how these gears here, they have that lip on the back, the flange. That protrusion is what fills that space for the limited slip discs or for the spacer, whatever you want to do. So these don't have that. So you have to, and also, on the other two, and probably on these two, on the sun gears, I had to machine the back of it out a little bit bigger to fit the rod that goes through the output shaft, because it wasn't big enough to seat all the way. So I had to machine it out with a 2mm end mill and just make it a slight bit wider to fit over it. But they've been working fantastic, and I'm really putting a hurting on it, and it's taking it. And then the stainless steel housings, I think that's going to be a big upgrade with all that combined. I'm just mentioning that briefly because I just got the other fluids I ordered. I got 1 million I got over there for the center diff. I got 20 million here, and then this is 100K. I've been using 50K in the front and rear. I'm going to go to 100. So that's why I have that, and then some grease and some other stuff and a whole bunch of goodies that I ordered. So I'm just showing you this stuff briefly, and then I'm going to show you what the video is actually about. Well, this is part of it, I guess. So the gearing, I'm going to change it to 1.5 gears. But I also, for the 1.5 gears, I got the set of gears that comes with the new rod. This is for the XRT. So after buying the sledge, I ended up looking into the XRT and the XRT Ultimate, and I ended up finding an XRT Ultimate online for, I paid 800 bucks for the XRT. He had had it for 3 months. Honestly, when I got it, you couldn't even tell it was barely even used. Like, you could tell slightly, but it was in magnificent shape. Really, it still is, even after me bashing it a little bit. I have upgraded a lot of parts on it. I did the aluminum upper bulkheads on both front and back. I did the aluminum gearbox cover, that not the one that comes on it. It's got a lot of aluminum upgrades on it when you buy it, the Ultimate, or when I got it. It also had the Bluetooth link already. I got a great deal for what I got, and I got 2 smart batteries, 2 Spectrum smart batteries with it. So I did really good. I can't complain at all. But this rod has the front bearing mount and the front bearing, so it has a bearing on both sides. And then it's also for the 1.5 gears that come with it right here. So this is a 25-35 combination. I'm probably going to switch that. I got a whole bunch of mod 1.5 gears. As you can see, I got a whole bunch of different sizes. So I'm going to figure out what sizes I want to go with, and then take it from there, and then put those in. And I'll try it and then see if I want to change it, and then go from there. Also for that truck, this is a Max 5 that I've already 3D printed a mount out of 100% infill TPU. And then these are fan mounts for the, this is, I guess, for this. I don't know if they just made this because of the color or what, but I probably won't use that. But this I'm definitely going to. Let me grab the motor and show you. And then I'm going to take the V8 style motor and ESC out of the XRT, and I'm going to put that in the sledge. So the sledge is going to have the bigger ESC and motor. Let me just grab the motor so you guys can see how big it is. Because honestly, compared to even the original in the 8S and the original in the XRT, it's massive. So, and then let me grab a smaller one, like a standard. I think I have a standard Spectrum laying around that I can show it to you next to, so you can get a grasp on how much bigger it is. That's the Hobbywing 1650 kilovolt that came with the combo for the Max 5. So this is the standard ESC that comes with the Arma Creighton 6S. So that's the difference in size. It's pretty tremendous. It's like double or more. It looks ridiculous next to each other. And then also for my Creighton, I've been using a 160 amp Firma as ESC. And I have been doing my research, and everybody says Castle. So I got a Castle Mamba Monster X 8S. This is they're both censored. This is up to 1/6 scale. I don't remember which model it was, which kilovolts. Let's open it up and see. And then I got a bunch of other goodies in here, some more aluminum parts for both of the two Traxxas. All the Traxxas stuff I did in blue. So this is the 17 series censored motor. Okay, so this is smaller, a lot smaller than that. But this is only going to be for up to 8S. This can be up to 12S. So this is the Mamba Monster that I got. And that's a 1650 kV, I believe. Hold on. 1650 kV, and the Hobbywing is 1100. So that's the 1650 kV Castle, and this is the ESC, which, wow, it is much smaller. It looked much smaller in the pictures, but that Max 5 is huge. So that's the Mamba Monster X from Castle. That's the ESC that's going to go with it. So this, I'm going to solder on the EC5 connectors. This is going to be for that, and this is censored. I don't know where the sensor wire is. Oh, maybe the motor is not censored. I don't know. I gotta check. Oh, and it is censored. Oh, it's in the back. There's a plug in the back. Okay, there should be an extension for it somewhere. That's a plug if you don't want to use it. Tell me there's an extension wire in here. Am I gonna have to make one? I might have to make an extension unless it's in the motor box. Oh, there's one in the motor box right there. Okay, good. So this is going to go in my Creighton, and the reason I'm going to put that in my Creighton is because I'm going to use the 8S motor that's in the XRT in the sledge, and I'll probably take the 160 amp Firma and the 1250 kV motor and put that in the Typhon or the Outcast. I'm not sure which one yet, but so those are out. And then I have a mount printing for the ESC right now. I have my 3D printers going with the stuff for this, obviously. And I'm using TPU for the ESC mounts because I think they'll be much more shock absorbent. And this is for the big motor. You just zip tie it on, and then put a couple of fans on there. And then there's I have an aluminum fan cover for one of them in blue. I'm trying to stick with all blue, and luckily I had this glass fiber, ABS glass fiber blue that's pretty close. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And that's all this. And then this is the castle. So this is going to be for my Creighton. And I think I'm going to do the XRT first, because I've been working on that more recently, and I have it fresh in my head. Not that I've worked on the Arma so much that I have that in my head too, but I'm just going to try to stick to one vehicle, finish it, and then go to the next. So I'm going to put these, and the exciting part about these also is they come with rubber gaskets, which all the others are paper for these. I do like that, and Traxxas did that originally. Not only are they rubber, but they give them to you, or silicone, but they give them to you in actual blue silicone that matches the car. It's pretty cool. So I'm favoring Traxxas at this point because of all of those facts of things that I've noticed with the Arma versus the Traxxas. I'm favoring Traxxas right now. Because of all that, and they really do drive great. And I'll be honest with you, I had a really bad experience with the 6S ESC. I'm getting a new one delivered today because it blew on me. I drove it through one battery and it was fine. Got it back, it was fine. The next day I started it up, and before I even started driving it, it just shut off and it has never turned back on. So I sent the motor and the ESC into them. They did give me a shipping label. They weren't going to, but I was like, dude, this thing failed in one battery, and you're gonna make me pay to ship it. And he's like, he gave it to me because they didn't want to lose a customer, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, you shouldn't want to lose a customer. I mean, you guys are the one in the wrong here. Anyways, also I did this on the Sledge and the XRT. So I got hardened steel gears. These are the original gears that I didn't put back in from which are huge in comparison to the 1/8 scale. But these are the gears for the front and rear differential, the internal gears, the outside gears, the gear that turns the outside gears. I forget the name. The pinion, not rack and pinion, but whatever it is. Those gears I got all new hardened steel. I got the aluminum housing for them, and I got the internal gears, just like the hardened steel for the Arma. I got hardened steel for those. So those are all hardened steel. And then I got some more goodies here. So these are the sleeves that lock on, something like what I made for the if you saw my last video about the Arma Creighton, I got the one-piece CVD axles for the center and for the wheels. But the center had like these keychain looking things that wrapped around to hold the pins in, and I made something like this with a set screw. So I just ordered a set of these. I probably could have just made them, but I ordered it. So this is a wheelie bar for the Sledge, similar to the one on the XRT. And then this is I already did the upper bulkheads. This is what goes above the upper bulkhead. Then obviously I needed a motor mount. This is the gear cover for that one spot where there's the gear opening that you can lift the cover. This is for the Sledge. I did all the rear braces. This is the front brace. This is the steering stabilizer for the XRT also. And then these are two different motor mounts for the XRT that I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet, whichever one works out better. And then this is the dust cover for the inside. And this is the pin set that replaces all the suspension hinge pins. So I've already done that I ended up using M5 bolts and drilling it out right to 5mm using M5 bolts and lock nuts on the opposite side. And I had already, that's also in another video I made, I had used high-speed steel, and I had made my own retaining plate, the plate that fastens them in. I had made that out of 1018 steel and used high-speed steel for the two hinge pins. One of those broke eventually. I mean, I'm fashion, I'm pretty hard. One of those eventually broke, so I decided to do that. And the bolts I used are grade 12.9, which if you know anything about bolt grading, grade 8 in America is grade 10.9 metric. These are metric. So grade 12.9 is that much higher than grade 8. So grade 8 in America, there's not really a grade for the 12.9 in American, but that goes to show you it's that strong. They don't even have a grade for it yet, or if they're ever going to. So that's the bolts that I used with lock nuts. I'm gonna put this stuff all away and move some more stuff after that, because I'm gonna try to put the XRT up here, and I'm gonna do these upgrades. So I'm eager to see the new gearing on there, and obviously the new motor. And I have to, this is gonna be a multiple part video, because I don't know exactly how I'm gonna mount the ESC or the motor yet, and I have to take the old ones out. So I'll get started and get as far as I can, and I can probably get some of these aluminum parts on other than the motor mount, but I'm not gonna put the gear cover on yet, because I'm not gonna be done with the gearing until I'm done with the motor. Even the other parts I may have to leave off, because I won't be at a point where it's going back on yet, but I'll show them to you anyways. So this is the gear cover. I'm not doing like aluminum arms or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just doing the stuff that counts, like near the gearing and where the parts are vulnerable because of power, and because of, you know, the parts that are important to be more strong. But I still want to have the weaker failure points, so that if I break something, it's an arm or something like that, rather than, you know, a frame. Which the frame I did protect, like I did with most of my others, with the Sledge, with the Creighton. I did the stainless steel under protection. Okay, so this is the front part. Then it has two braces that go on the side to the bottom part, and then it also has the back support that's adjustable as well. So I'm not even going to open this motor mount. I'm going to go with this one, because I like that it has that back support, and also the color is a little closer to the actual Traxxas color, which isn't my primary concern, but the rear support definitely is. So that the fact that it has the rear support, I'm going to go with that one for sure. Okay, so this one I'm not even going to open. That's going to go back. This is the gear cover. These are the hardened steel gears. Those are going to get put away. I already did the internals on both the Sledge and the XRT, on the internals of and the outside gear and the gear that turns the shaft. And then I also have the two-piece drive shaft coming. I ordered that online. I don't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but that's going to be coming in soon too. This is the steering stabilizer for the XRT. And then this is what goes above that bulkhead that I already put in, and the steering stabilizer. This is, I'm sure you guys have it, you know what part that is. So those are going to be last, then the motor mount's going to be next. Let me put all the gearing stuff away for the Arma, and the Mod 1.5 gears I'm going to need to leave out. These are for the Sledge. I'll put those away too. This can be put away for now. I'm going to leave the gears out until I decide what gearing I'm going to use. The example motor can get put away. So let me see if I can make enough room for the XRT to fit up on the table here, and be able to show you guys while I'm working on it. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, this one box with all the gears, I am going to keep out, because that's got gears that I'm going to be, I may potentially be using. I'm not really sure 100% which gears I'm going to use yet, but I know that there's some Mod 1.5 gears in here that I would like to at least have out, and then whatever ones of those I don't end up using, I'm gonna hang on to in case I decide to change them. So this toolkit is going to be a to-go kit. So I can get this off of here. And I just got this mat for working on. It has like a bunch of little spots to put the different bits that I need, and this little stand I got, so I'd have a place to keep all this stuff. That's a little more convenient. This is all area that you can keep screws and magnetic and all that. So it's much more convenient to work on things and not lose stuff. That's gonna go get put in the truck for taking it with me. That's another little magnet tray. Okay, this is the extension for the sensor on this guy. And I don't even have the mount done for that yet. It's printing now. So that one that's another reason I'm not going to try to attempt that one yet. All right, this is the extended sensor wire, and it goes in here. And luckily, if I need to make this even longer, I can, no problem. I have all these small JST connectors and the crimpers for it, and I'm very familiar with doing it from building 3D printers and you know, doing stuff on my CNC machine. And then I have tons of soldering irons. I may have to bring this over to my soldering station for a minute while I do that part, because I have to solder the connectors onto this. And then there's the switch and the throttle wire. Okay, well, that seems like it'll be long enough. Yeah, that should be. And then the wires are going to go here. And I like that this has the bigger wires, even though it's only up to 8S. It's not the 12S like that, but it does have the 6.5mm connectors. So actually, I'll take this right off the table. This can go get put away for right now. I'm going to keep out the Hobbywing and all the XRT stuff. And the Mod 1.5 gears are going to stay out. All of those. I don't know that I'll need to keep all of these. I think I actually ordered too many. This is, what size are these? These are 25 through 29. 25 through 29 tooth. And these are 21 to 25. I think the 21 to 25 is more likely what I'm going to want to use. And then this is a 25 and a 24. Which I think that's a duplicate, so I don't think I'm going to need those either. I'll see what I need, but I have a 25 and a 35 right here, so I think I have a redundancy here. But I'll leave this box over here because I'm going to probably want to put the ones that I'm going to keep in there. I'm only going to open one thing at a time, and if there's stuff that I don't need, I'll put it away to be sent back. But let's put these over here for now. And get my screw gun over here, and then I have a smaller screw gun that's going to have my M2, because mostly M2 and 2.5, so I usually keep one screw gun ready with each so that I have everything out and ready. And then this differential can get put away before I knock it over. And that's I've been experimenting with grease for the differential, and the grease that I've found that I like the best is the Team Losi Super Tacky grease, and I can't seem to get any more of it. I actually contacted them to see if they could sell me a bigger container of it, because it's a very small container you get. I've already gone through it, and they don't have a bigger container. And then I asked them, can you sell me like 5 or 10 of the little ones, because they're only like $7. And because I have other purposes, not just this, that I would use that for. It's really good sticky grease. And they didn't respond to me yet, so maybe they did. I'll have to check my email today. But anyways, let me get the one other fluid that I want, the other screw gun and the truck, and we'll get started. I'm gonna put this away over there. I'm gonna take the 500,000, I think. I don't think I'm actually gonna use the 500,000 though. What else do I need? I got the 1 million. Here we go. I'm gonna take the 1 million and put this ESC away for now. Yeah, another battery finished. And I've been using these smart batteries from Spectrum, because I had been using almost all Spectrum stuff, and I'm not really using all Spectrum stuff anymore. But I do like the batteries. I do like that it gives you the telemetry. I don't think I'm going to get the telemetry from another ESC, so we'll have to see how that works out. But anyways, we'll see how that works out is the punchline. There's not really much more I can say. The only differential I didn't take apart in the XRT is the center, and I'm going to do that because I want to at the very least change the fluid. But I probably should have gotten another set of hardened steel gears for this and put those in the middle. I did the front and rear and the housing for the front and rear. Yeah, this is a big truck, man. Let's see if I can move those screws over there and then put it here. Get some of this stuff out of the way. I should take the tires off. All right, well, It's not going to do any good on a stand, so I'll probably just leave it here. I'll start taking some stuff apart because I need to take all this stuff out anyway. And it's mostly 2.5 on this because it's mostly M4, which is the M4 bolts in socket heads are a 3mm, but in button heads, countersunks, and low profiles, they're all 2mm. I mean, I'm sorry, 2.5mm rather. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to take the tires off anyway to get to some of these screws. Or I could actually use my ball end. I'll probably use my ball end, 2.5. And I do have a longer ball end. I probably should get that. So I'm just that's one of the snap-in body mount parts. Let me lock these wheels on this so that I'm not rolling all over the place. Oh, and I do have a couple drawers here. They're not very deep, but I could put some stuff in here too, so that would save me some space. Let's put these aluminum parts in there until I decide what I'm going to use and when. And put the screws in there so I don't lose them. So I don't knock these over, because that would be a real fun thing to clean up. Put the grease in here. Put all the fluid in here. All right, that's good for now. All right. And let me get a tire tool so I can take the tires off, because I'm sure I'm going to need to for screws at the very least. Because if I can't get to the screws, you don't want to try to like get them on an angle, because you know you're just asking to strip stuff that way, unless it's a ball end. So this is the bolts that I used to replace the hinge pin, the grade 12.9. They're socket head. They're very, very strong, very high quality bolts. They're not the ones that I just got in. I just got in more of them that are grade 12.9, but I haven't looked at them yet to see how the quality looks. And I did replace these tires. These are Proline Badlands, which I honestly had ordered these once by mistake, thinking I would fit them on the Creighton or the sledge, and they don't fit on it. They're 23mm on the inside. And then I ended up getting the XRT, and they do fit it. And I wanted these tires because they're beadlock and they're so much harder. The rubber, I ordered the smaller size that's for the 1/8 scale, and it's just not even close to the same. They're so much different. It really wasn't even worth ordering. And I sent those right back because the rubber was just so soft in comparison. I didn't even bother doing anything with them. I just sent those back. What am I doing? I gotta take the wheel off first. I'm gonna end up having to take these wheels all off because I gotta get to too much stuff, and it'll just be so much easier to work with. Even aside from the screws, I have to flip it over a bunch of times back and forth to get the motor mounts out and all that. So it's gonna be just easier to have these off. Plus I need to change these wheel hubs because Traxxas, with their ridiculous little indentation that strips out your wheels, is very frustrating. And I think it's very petty that they had to do that instead of a standard 17mm. I mean, Traxxas has a good reputation, and they should be able to count on that to keep their business, not like making something like that proprietary that if people don't know, they end up stripping out a wheel hub. And I did strip one out on a trencher, but luckily from the sledge, but luckily I had plenty of the replacement parts for the tire to replace that, and it didn't really cause me much grief. Okay, so now that'll be easier to work with. And I'm gonna start taking these parts off, put my titanium bit back on. All right, now I actually have some extra long ones that I just got. I got like 29 packages today delivered. from all stuff that I ordered for this. I think this is a 2.5 right there. Yeah, that's the extra long 2.5 millimeter. That'll be helpful. Let's see, what am I taking off first? Let's go with the wing. I'm gonna grab my little, I have a little copper hammer that I brought in here from my machine shop for stuff like this, because it doesn't really ding up other metal, because the copper is softer, so it'll just ding up the tip of the hammer, which it's done pretty damn good at. If you can see that, it's dinged it up pretty good, but it doesn't ding up the other metal, which is perfect. Which is also why it's great for machining, because when you tap your work into place before you start the CNC or whatever you're doing, it doesn't do any damage to your work, to your part. All right, let's use this magnet tray first. All right, and there's the wing. I'm going to put the spare parts. I'm going to move this, and I'm going to put them right there. Okay, now I'm going to take this off. Alright, so if they stay in the part, I'll leave them in the part. It's a little easier to keep track of them, but I always figure out where they go anyway. It might take me a minute, but I always do figure it out. Or I just replace them because I have plenty of extras. So see, this differential cover came on here, but not the other part that I'm telling you about, which I'll show you in a moment. Oh, this one's got to come out. Okay. So let me show you real quick. I'll bring you a little closer, get you a close up, but lift you up a little higher. And tilt you down. All right, so over here, what I replaced, I'll show you what I replaced and what came stock on the Ultimate, so you guys know if you're interested in potentially buying an Ultimate. So this part that says Traxxas on it, obviously that one came with it, but the upper bulkhead is the part right next to it. So let me take this gear cover off. Okay, so this part was factory, this part was not, and this part was factory. So, but this goes right up to both of them, and now that gear cover is going to also be aluminum, unless, is this right? Oh yeah, it goes this way. Well, that'll fit once I get the motor out of there. That's not going to be the motor. I mean, you can take this piece off. Oh, that's a 2. So you can take that part off if you wanted to do it stock. I guess that's what that's for. This part, I think this, nah, I don't know where, maybe, did I order the wrong gear cover? I don't know. I hope not. Oh, I think this is for back here. This is for right here if you use a larger gear there. That's what I think that's for. So it is the wrong gear for me because I don't intend on changing those gears. So if that's the case, let me look further into it and see. But if that's the case, then I won't be using this. And then this part is going to be replacing this right here. It's going to go underneath the Traxxas lighting thing, which I have to figure out. I have to look up the schematics on that wiring and see how that gets wired, so that I can wire it to a different ESC. The front, I don't really think I need to take apart right now, or probably at all for this. Okay, this is the gear cover that came on it right here. So I can get it out. What a pain in the ass. There we go. Okay, this one that says Traxxas on it, which is kind of a dead giveaway. That one came on it. So let's put those screws and this in the same little spot. And then this has a couple of screws. This is the bulkhead that I put on, which I don't think I'm going to have to take off because this part's getting replaced right here. And if you see, there's a little spot right there. And this piece right here that holds a bearing right there fits in that spot perfectly. It's even indented just like that spot. So this is going to sit right in there, so you have a bearing in the back and in the front. So let's just show you real quick how that fits, and see for myself how it fits. And then there's a few shims if you want to shim it. All right, so this is the rod that's going to replace the other one. Let me just make sure I'm putting this in the right order. Take that bearing out. And then it doesn't come with a pin, so I have to use this pin. And then this gear goes over that pin. Okay, so far it's looking pretty good. And then this part is going to go here. So this gear would have to go on here. Well, probably actually it's not going to go on there. I'm going to use the other gear. Where's the two that came with that? I think it's these. Yeah, 25, 35. Okay. Here's my 25, and the 35 is going to go, yeah, the 35 is going to go here, the 25 is going to go on the pinion. So here's the 35, and then I'm going to need to grab my Loctite, and I use red Loctite on this, and sometimes I even use the retaining compound that I have. Let me show you what I have and what I use. It's 680 retaining compound, sometimes to keep it on the shaft. This is what I use sometimes to keep it on the shaft. This is for the more important parts, like the nut, like the set screw that goes in there, and then this is for general bolts throughout the rest of it. So I need to have all those. All right. Now this 35 tooth is going to go on here, and this is actually D-shaped. So I don't think I'm going to need to use the retaining compound. I'm not going to use the retaining compound, actually. Okay. Just want to make enough room for the bearing, but I am going to use the 277 red Loctite. And if you use good square bits and you get them in the screw all the way, then you don't strip them as much as people think. You do have to heat it to get it to loosen up, so definitely do that. Okay, so then this would go here, and I just want to see how that seats, but first I'm going to have to take this off. And no, I don't have a retaining clip on that right now, so that's good. See, that has red Loctite, and I got it off with no heat. It doesn't have retaining compound. The last one did, and it was really difficult to get off. That retaining compound is no joke. Okay. Oh yeah, that fits right in there nice. I just have to get the, see, that seats it right there. I just have to put the other bearings in, and that's going to seat it perfectly. So I got a bearing that goes right here. I'm going to use the original one, and I'm going to also use, I think I'm going to take that gear off and use the original one there too, because theirs seem to be quite a bit. Oh, they just gave you a couple of extra ones for the front part. That's not even for that part. What is holding this on here? Maybe I just have to unscrew it. And I do have a better 2mm that's less likely to strip it, that's even more squared. Here we go. These are a nice, good, hard metal that won't strip. There we go. Okay, so that can come out. Oh, and then it's got a pin in here. Perfect. I hadn't taken this off yet, but that was simple. So what I'll do is I'll put the pin back in there, put this all back together, and make sure I have everything. If I do need to use it again for some reason, which I don't think I will, but I think the fact that the middle of this, I would have to get a metal one, because I think that the fact that the middle of this is plastic would not stand up to the power of that new motor at all. Okay, so that's going to go in my gearbox, and the shaft is too once I take this part off, so that can go in there too. This is honestly all stuff I could have made on my lathe too, or on my CNC or whatever. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, it was not that expensive, so I'm not going to tighten that yet because I want to make sure that it's exactly where it needs to be. Once I get the other motor in, I don't know where that's going to end up being yet. Oh, that doesn't go there. What am I doing? That goes on the other side. This goes here. So now it's supported in 3 locations, which is really good. I really like that. Yeah, beautiful. See, now that's got a ton of support. Even without the cap on, without the lid on, it's got tons of support. All right, let's take this. Well, actually, let's take this off first, the shocks off. Yeah, because I'm going to redo those shock pins anyway. I have new ones for that. I'm going to put in that shock kit for sure. It's going to change all these hinge pins for threaded. They're only partially threaded. Where'd I put that kit? I might have put it in the drawer probably. Yep, there it is. Okay, so these are partially threaded, and you have to drill it out. It comes with the drill bit. Not that I don't have drill bits. I got all the metric sizes, but anyways, it comes with it so that you can drill it out, and it comes with some bushings, and then these are all, they look like 7mm hex on the end. They're probably M4 screws. I chose to go M5 on the other one. I may even go M5 on this and not use these, but at the moment they seem to be okay, so I don't see why I couldn't use them. These are M4 lock nuts. I'm gonna change these to mine and use the M4 flange lock nuts with the flange on them. I prefer those in every scenario. So the flange lock, every scenario that you can fit the flange. some scenarios you can't fit the flange, so you have to use the regular ones, which is why I keep those in stock too, but that's essentially the only reason I keep them in stock. All right, so let me grab a 1.5 to tap that out. All right, maybe it goes out this way. Okay. And then also I have new springs coming for these shocks. So these shocks are going to end up having more rigid springs. And then this little black piece, there's one for each side, which I'm probably going to make something better that goes like right over the top of the shock, so it's easier to hold in line instead of trying to line those things up. I'll probably machine something for that while I have it apart. And I'm taking the shocks out only from the top because the part that's holding them I want to take out so I have more access to this. So I'm not going to take anything further apart below it, but I'm going to take this piece right here off that was holding them on the top. Okay, and how many more screws on it? Oh, the top hinge pins go through. Yep, they go through that as well as the upper bulkhead. So I have to take these out too. And these have the same thing. They have this little blue retainer that holds the hinge pin, but I mean, you know, it's not really, in my book, it's not really a whole lot of strength compared to like an actual locking nut with a through bolt. So I'm definitely going to be changing those as well, so may as well get them out. And the bottom arms as well. The bottom arms are the most important in my experience, because those are the ones that I had to do on the Creighton, and those are now those M12.9 bolts that I told you about. I mean the grade 12.9 bolts that I told you about. Okay, so that, and then what else is holding this? There's a couple M2 screws over, or 2mm M3 screws over here. These are the button head M3, so they're 2mm socket head, or 2mm hex that you need to take them out. If these were M3 with a socket head, you would need a 2.5. But that's the way it works. Even with as you go up in sizes, they work the same way. Okay, that should be, yeah, that's it. Okay. So these screws go here and here. Let's just put those in now so I don't lose them. And put that over there. And those two can stay in there for now. Okay, so this is the upper bulkhead that I put on right here. And I did order more of these also, because you can put them on both sides. So I ordered extra to put on both sides and the bottom. So then these screws will be holding those two together, and I have aluminum holding it on the top, so it's going to be pretty secure. So now I'm going to take this part off. This is the part that I just put in. That has these two as well, I believe. What else is holding this? Might just be tension from the differential cover. Might have to just loosen the bottom a little bit. What else is holding that? Let me get a flathead so I can try to pull up on it lightly. got that song stuck in my head, but I did. All right, well, let's see how we do with this. Oh yeah, it's coming up. It was just tightened in there from the tension with the differential cover. There we go. Now I am going to take out the center diff now that I'm here, but you can see the hardened steel gears that I put in. This and this are all hardened steel gears. They're not there, and that's the Team Losi stuff that's sticking to me like that. So these are all really, really unbelievable gears. And I had heard that with the helical gears, which these are helical gears, and they're in perfect shape after having driven it as much as I have. With the helical gears that they strip, that they have a tendency to, or not strip, back out as you slow down or reverse. So maybe I do need to take that front differential cover off to get that out. Not maybe, I do need to take it out. So I ended up using the 680 retaining compound to hold that in place, and it worked perfectly. It hasn't moved a bit. And this is another original part from being the ultimate version, the differential cover. So this I rebuilt on the inside. It has the hardened steel gears inside, but this is the hardened steel helical outside gear. And these are really rigid. Like those hardened steel gears were a very good investment. This center diff is actually, and I actually used retaining compound. That's why that ain't gonna move. I used retaining compound on the drive shaft until I change it, because I didn't want that to slide, but now I need it to slide, so that was fun. Or that's gonna be fun. And I can't get this up without moving it back, and it used to move back more. Well, let me get the motor out first. I'll probably have an easier time with the motor out. Okay, so this is the assembly. This is how it's gonna be. And I think there's a spacer, if I'm not mistaken, on the other one that holds that. Oh no, it's not. It's just, it does look like it's a spacer, but it's not coming off. That's not gonna slide. I do have a spacer from from other motors that hold the pinion out a certain distance. I'd like to fill this space right here between the bearing and that, so that it's in the right location, which I'll have to find out what the right location is. But even I could make a sleeve for that. That's not a problem. I could machine it down to the right diameter and then drill it out on the lathe, and it'll come out just fine. But I am going to take this out and do the center diff fluid. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the million weight or the 20 million. Everybody says the 20 million, especially in this truck, so I'm probably going to try to take their advice, at least to give it a shot, and hopefully that they're giving good advice. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, that retaining compound is no joke, man. But I will get that out one way or another, and get the new fluid in it. I'll show you guys. And I really wish, now that I'm doing that I had gotten another set of hardened steel gears for this, for the Traxxas XRT hardened steel gears, because all the internal gears in here, in the front and rear, are all hardened steel. And it's probably, you know, in fact, I'm probably going to order a set right now so that I have them here tomorrow, because Amazon's amazing. They get here in one day, and they're selling like pretty good quality stuff. And RC is popular enough that they actually have it all in stock. So it's pretty great. Where, you know, because if they don't have it in stock, you don't get it the next day. You get it still pretty quick, but not the next day. But like a lot of these RC parts, I've been getting the next day, which is amazing. Alright, this is going to come out to go in the sledge. Oh nice, they didn't even have that ridiculous tape on it. That's beautiful. Alright, let's open these radio boxes. And then we got to try to figure out where this ESC can fit. I'm probably not going to stick, even though this has the Traxxas link that gives you the speed and everything. I have different telemetry sensors for the Spectrum stuff because I went with the DX5 controller, and with all that being said, I have the GPS sensor for them, so you get actual speed through that, and I've found it to be very accurate, even compared to like the Sky RC one. It's more accurate in my opinion, because when I clocked it next to a vehicle, I was closer with the GPS off of that than I was with the Sky RC add-on part, because it's not going to anything. It's just all self-contained. At least that's got that the telemetry for the Spectrum stuff is going to the receiver, that's going to the ESC, that's going to the controller. So I think it's got a little more room for better hardware to make it more accurate, which is why I think it probably is. Okay, there's the ESC. This is going to be the new ESC for the sledge when I get to it, and the new motor as well. That motor's going in there also. And then I have a 6S brand new ESC that I haven't even gotten yet, let alone used, and that's going to be for sale. If anybody's watching this that's interested, hit me up, leave me a comment. I'll leave you my email. You can get back in touch with me, and we'll get it shipped out to you if you're interested. Let's see if this is the same. Oh, so I might have to just make the opening bigger. I can modify this to work. Yeah, I'll make it work. I'll modify it. That's what I'll do with that. Okay. I'll take that in the machine shop and get it squared away where I can get that out. All right, now let's pop this motor off. See, even with this stainless steel plate on the bottom, it still has the holes that I can get to, the motor mount holes. I can get to a few other things without taking it off, which is fantastic. I love it. If I could find the screw in there, I need to get a light. Let me grab myself a light. Hold on. I don't have a headlight over here. I got a massive one. Yeah, that'll probably do it. Come on, buddy. They don't make a stand to hold this up the way I got it positioned right now, that's for sure. It's so bright that the glare off the bottom is, let me see if I can turn the thing down because it's too bright. All I see is the glare. There we go. No, only one down. Right there. Yeah, the glare is killing me. There we go. Alright, that's better. There's one. And then get those little blue spacer things, little blue washers, whatever you want to call them, that are in here as well. Okay. Those will fall out on their own. These are the screws. There's one more somewhere. I think it didn't fall out yet, or we'll find it when it does. Okay. Now, let me put those pins aside. So if you guys don't know, the Ultimate has metal. It's a metal motor mount, but it's also very proprietary. So you can only get to certain gear combinations with it. You could just take all the pins out and slide it, but I don't know how much movement that's actually going to give you, and I don't know how secure it's going to be either. So I'll figure out a way to mount this in the sledge. And that I have to, that's another project I have to figure out what I'm going to do with, how I'm going to mount that. And there's a couple of screws holding the wires right here for the fans. Okay, and those are going right to the radio. Oh, it looks like they have multiple going there for the fan. I'm not sure how they have that set up. They have some kind of a, oh, that's just a splitter. They have it split again for the third fan, for the, that's the third fan for the ESC fan. All right, come on, buddy, get in there. One thing I do like better about Traxxas, other than what I've already mentioned, is their radio boxes are a lot better. They're a lot more watertight. They're a lot more, you can just tell like a lot of the stuff that they do is better quality. I have an axe to grind about the proprietary stuff, because this, I mean, I get why they do it, and I understand as a business owner why they do it, but like on the things that they do it on, you're like gonna make people damage their parts, and that's really shitty. It's really shitty. So as you can see, I already soldered these in. These are two EC5s on this connector, on this ESC rather. So it looks like the front part of that radio box will have to, and then this side piece here will have to come out. And then once I take the front part of that radio box out that puts all the wires through, it might fit. Let me see. And probably this way rather than that way. So if I go up that far, that's going to be right about there. Let's see the motor mount now. Okay, that, and then that, and this. All right, let's see how this thing goes together. It looks like that might be totally separate, but you see how you can move this up and down to close on the top, and move the bottom up and down to, you know, the right height that it's going to sit at, which I really like. So for instance, if this was, yeah, I might have to make new holes for this stuff, probably. Does that part come out now that I have this unscrewed? It might. See, so like this, I'm gonna have to do some more research on how people. No, it doesn't. It's the battery box that comes away from it, but the middle part doesn't come out. So I may have to drill some new holes. But this part, I wonder if this part could go right under this. No, it doesn't. It's got a different mounting pattern. Oh no, it has to go this way anyway. No, so I think it probably will. I think it can go right under here. Yeah, it does. Oh no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't exactly line up. Let's get the rest of it put together and see how that goes. So this gets probably like that. Probably like this. No, like that. Yeah, okay, so this is the front. That's, oh, so maybe it does. That's the back. No, what the hell does that screw into? It's got four, oh, that might be, I thought that was the front. Oh, it is the front. So this doesn't go that way. This has to be this way. Because it has to mount to that. Why are they all going that way? Oh, it must be this way. Oh, there we go. That's why. Hello. Okay, so yeah, that's the extra support on the side right there. I like that. It looks, with that in the back, it's got a ton of support, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's the motor mount so far with the side braces. So let me get the bag of screws that came with this and Loctite them all and put them all in. If I can find the right bag now. Those are all button head. These are probably going to all be countersunk. Now I have all my own screws brand new if I need them, but I shouldn't need them. Oh, this is probably it right here. Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll use blue Loctite on these. We'll start off with that. Okay. Yep, that's going to be that. Let's put it here. Let's put the Loctite right in these holes. I'm going to get a hand 2.5. And at least it's M4 hardware on this. I do like that too. I mean, I'd prefer to see M5 really, but that's probably a pipe dream because I think M3 is the common thing. So going to M4, they're making it beefier for sure. And it's got 4 screws that go right in the front too. Those are also countersunk, so it looks like I have just enough countersunk. 2 more for the side, and then 4 more for the front. 3 and 4, yep. I'll give you just enough for that. Okay. Okay, now, oh, wow, that limits the amount of space I can go up and down now, doesn't it? Huh. How would you avoid that? You wouldn't. There's not really a way to avoid that. I guess take one of those screws out, but that's not good. That's something I'm going to have to look into and try to figure out what's going on with that. Because there's got to be a way to raise it up and down more. I mean, I don't know how much I have to raise it. I mean, there's screws that go through here and go into it and pull it up. But like, how do you secure it on the side when this thing is in the way? Maybe you got to undo those temporarily. I'm not sure. You know, I'm just going to start all these and I'll zip them in with this. Just turn it back down to 1. Okay. So now, yeah, probably, let me see if I loosen these. Yeah, there's no room for that to go. It would have to, I'd have to, and you can't take them off because there's got to be a different thing. Is there not another piece to go in here for that? That's, how could they make it like that where it's going to hit itself? Oh, this might go right on top. No, it doesn't. It's got to go separate unless, no, it's just not the right width. I gotta see how this is gonna go. It definitely fits the motor, which is the primary thing. I don't know how many screws I'm gonna get on it. They're all M4 screws on this motor though, which is great. Let me take this piece out. Which these are socket head M4s, so they're all M3s. I mean, on the side, if they had made this be, I mean, it's got a slide, I guess, so it can't be countersunk, but it could be low profile. You could put low profile M4s right there. And then make like a little notch in the side support, because I like all the support, but you got to have a better design than to have it get right in the way of each other. That's not very smart. Well, it's got the two bottom, but not the two top. Come on, you got to line up right somewhere. You can't give me this thing not lining up correctly. I want to get, oh, there we go. There's, nope. I thought it had three, but that's not going to get all three. Oh, there's, no, not even two diagonal. I really want to have all four screws in it. I don't know if they're all going to line up. Probably not, because it's probably set up for a bunch of different motors, which, God forbid, they did anything universal that would benefit customers. Well, it looks like those two diagonal are going to be the best fit to have the motor centered, and I guess I'm probably only going to get two screws. Well, let me start one and see what I get. Yeah, I'm going to need to use the longer screws too. I want it to go in there further. Yeah, I can get two there, crisscross, diagonal from each other. Yeah, it looks like that's all I'm going to be able to get is the two diagonal. And I'm obviously going to Loctite these. I'm trying to see what I'm going to do with it first. Oh, this has to be turned around. Oh, that makes sense. It's kind of like a heat sink on the, up against the motor, which is cool. There we go. All right, so this obviously has to be in there first because that flange won't let me get it in. So this has to go, you see how there's a flange there? That has to go into there, and then I can screw the motor in, so I can't screw it in here. So I do want to see how it's going to sit and how I'm going to get the rest going in there. So let's get it in there that way so I can put this on going through here. Alright, so the wires were almost straight up. That's it right there. Yeah, and that's nice and centered right there, so that's definitely where it's got to go. So I'm only getting 2 screws in. They are M4 socket head screws, which are pretty strong, so I should be hopefully good like that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, that's gonna have to be the shorter screws because these won't go all the way in. I thought it was gonna be those longer ones, but apparently not. They do not go all the way in. Oh, they'll probably go in deeper now that I have this on this side because it's counterbored a little bit more. Yeah, I can feel it already. It's definitely gonna go in more. Yep, that should be good right there. Obviously, I'm going to Loctite these when I get ready to keep them in, but right now I'm not ready to keep them in. All right, so this, see if it has to go up there. I don't know how I could get 2 of the side screws probably still, but I'm not going to get all 4, like 2 on each side. But with the back support, that might hold it. Wow, that ESC, this is going to be tight, like tight, really tight. This is going to be super tight. And then with the back support, this has got to go sideways, no question about it, because this is going to be right here. Oh, there's screws right there for it. Oh, that's cool. They put this in a spot where there's already screw holes for it. That's going to be the deeper screws. That's what that is. That's a beautiful thing. Oh, this doesn't take M4s. Is that right? Yeah, it's not wide enough for it. What the heck? Maybe you use whatever original screws were there. What was there? That was holding down the ESC. The ESC screws are in the ESC, so I'll take those. Oh, they're nice and long at least. Oh yeah, that should secure it down plenty well. I mean, they're M3s, but they go way down in there, so that should be good. Wow, that motor takes up the whole motor space and more than half of the ESC space. The motor mount and the front and back mount, the whole space of the old motor and half the space of the old ESC. So much bigger. So look at that. This is going to take, so where's that cradles the bottom. Oh, I got to move this back a little. Wow, that's tight. Oh man, is it even going to fit? Yeah, it is. Just got to put that in first. Okay. It's still tight. It's very tight. But yeah, I love that it cradles that, and I can tighten that up and have it hold that nice and tight. Yeah, I could put that up, and then it's cradling the bottom of the motor and pinning down the top as well. So the motor's going to be nice and secure. And it's got an 8mm shaft, so that's going to be plenty secure. Yeah, I got to take the motor back out to screw this in. And the 4 screw holes also line up, which is great. And this is already threaded, so I don't have to put nuts or anything. So there's a lot of positive. I mean, this particular mount is made for this particular motor. It's made for this vehicle with this motor. So you know, it's not surprising that things are lining up. But that one thing with the screws that secure it, I mean, I'm not as worried about it because the back is going to add so much support. So I'm not so worried about it. But I would like to know how I'm going to do it. So yeah, let me get these 4 mounting screws through. Now I'm hoping those blue pieces on the bottom didn't come out, because I would rather have those be in and screw right through them. Well, only one came out. All right, let me get a screw up through so I can just see where it is, and then start lining it up to that and Loctiting it. Let's see if I can see which one has it and which one doesn't. Oh, it fell out of the first one I was going to use, of course. Okay, let's put that on the screw. Okay, that's one started. Let me start a second one. There we go, nice. Eventually I'm going to start them all, and then I'm going to Loctite it up top, and then I'll come back and tighten them all. Yeah, they're fitting, lining right up. Okay. Yep, all of them lined right up. Okay, now Loctite all this. Fuck is my screw? I can't see shit. Oh, what the hell? My flashlight wants to die right now. You son of a bitch. I have been watching a bunch of videos on modifying this thing, because obviously I was planning on doing this, and so I've been trying to do some research, and I really like the belt drive, and they're using HTD belts, which are high torque drive. HTD stands for high torque drive belts. Those are what are used on CNC machine spindles. So they're using some serious belts. That's what also was used on the electronic lead screw. On my servo motor that's connecting my electronic lead screw to my actual lead screw, the servo to the lead screw. So they're very strong belts, and I know what they're capable of and how much power they're capable of. So I'm kind of wanting to do one of those on here. I may end up changing out the Mod 1.5s to a belt drive at some point. All right, there we go. That's secured, Loctited. All right. Yep, that ain't going nowhere. Okay. Alright, let me just put this piece on and loctate it because that's the only way it's going to line up. It ain't going anywhere. Okay, that one, and then you're going in that one. Oh, what am I doing? This has to go through here first. Dum-dum. Come on, dum-dum. You dum-dum. Get in there. There we go. There's one. What the hell? It was in there. That's where I had it, right there. Why are you not getting in there? I really need to put some light over here. I just kind of set this table up to be able to use for this. I just had it as like a miscellaneous, like repair my air guns, repair whatever table, and I had a bunch of other stuff on it, but I cleared it off and put like more of the stuff that's pertinent to this on it before starting to do this, so that I had a place where I could actually, you know, have a decent place to show you guys what I was doing. And you know, it's all well and good, but the wow, that motor's huge. The stuff I put on here was not everything I need, and it's kind of not really. I'll set it up better for the future, but all right, so let's put this gear in and see how it's going to land and what I'm going to need to do with the other gear. Yeah, between this and the bearing on here and the other stuff I have coming, the drive shaft and all the stuff I've already done. Oh, and this motor mount pins that thing right down in there. I love that. You got to get it right in there just right, and then it locks it in. Oh, that between this and the other, that gear is not far enough up. I just had this in here. There we go. The gear. Oh yeah, that's pinned in there hard. Between that being pinned and then when I put this cover in the back in there, oh, this thing's going to be really, really strong. All those different factors holding this thing together. The bearing up here being pinned down by the motor mount, and then this yeah, the 35 tooth is barely not hitting the drive shaft. So that's, I mean, the drive shaft will probably be a slightly smaller, but not at the edge. I hope it's not any bigger. And then these gears mesh well together like they always did, with the bearing here and then the bearing in the middle. Yeah, it's totally well supported. It's secured. Once I put the two covers on it, it's very secured. That's a really nice design, really nice end result. Okay, that's going to be a 2.5, which I'll probably, well, let's see if I can get this in here. Oh no, that's a 3. Those are socket head. Okay, let's add a little tighter than that. Okay. And then that can go all the way down to the top of this. And that's why it went that way, because it makes the sensor wire go just out to the side. It's not perfectly straight up, but the sensor wire goes right where you need it to be. Alright, but no, that's not going to be able to stay there. And I got to cut a little piece of that off, because that's going to be my way of seeing what I'm of getting to the other screw, actually. So I gotta cut a little piece of this off. Okay. Perfect. Now I can get to my screw. Well, I gotta loosen the back to even be able to move it. It's holding it good. So maybe those other screws aren't necessary when you got the back secured. All right, so now I have no idea where this ESC is gonna go. It's just so much bigger. I think that's what I've seen other guys do, is go right on top of the radio box. And they did leave this piece in, and they left the whole radio box, but there was a mount that went up on top of the radio box for this. So that would go right there, which is okay. I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of it, but I mean, the sensor wire would reach, all the power wires would reach, with plenty to spare, and I'd have to zip tie that all clean. And then these could have been shorter too, and I probably should have made the middle one longer to be able to go to both sides. Yeah, I definitely am going to have to do that. So I'm going to have to modify this a little bit, just make that. I have some number 8 wire that I would rather use anyway. I'll probably disconnect this all the way to the end and use number 8 wire, because this looks like 10 gauge. I want to put number 8, or 8 gauge rather. 8 gauge wire like on the beginning of this. This is nice and fat. Yeah, this is 8 gauge. That's exactly what they have here. I probably should use 8 gauge the whole way and get rid of all the other wire. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'll have to, that sucks, because it's, these thick wires, they eat up a ton of solder when you solder. Not that I really care, it's not crazy expensive. It's like, I mean, that $30 thing has lasted me forever. It's still like 3/4 of the way full. And I do a lot of soldering, but I don't want like too skinny of wire on this, because I very well may even try 12S on this, 2/6S in it. That's what this is capable of. I mean, the amperage that it's capable of enduring is like something to withhold, to behold rather. It's amazing. I mean, this thing can take 12S, 250 amps constant, and I think it's like 1600 amp burst. That's crazy. 1600 amps of power is so astronomical. That's such an astronomical amount of power. It's actually crazy. It's actually really crazy. So anyways, I do like this fan shroud. I do like the whole little V8 looking thing. You know, it looks like a V8 motor. It looks like the V8 motor in my Challenger. Kind of. I have the 2 SRT things on the side, but yeah, it's similar. It's very similar. It's kind of cool. But who could argue with how this looks? I mean, that's just the motor in there now, but who could argue with that? That looks pretty badass. And now I'll have the ESC probably up there, because I don't see where on God's green earth else it could be. And then all my blue hardware over the rest. And I have to actually, I didn't even realize until just now, I'm going to need another one of those pieces to put on this side. I'm not going to have them not match. I'm not going to do why I need another one of these. I'm sure it's identical. Let's see. There might be one for the front, one for the back. I don't know. Where's the piece that I took off? And then the steering part that I have is only going to be for the front, which is this. Oh, so I think this takes its place in the front. Yeah, this is for the front. Okay, yeah, that takes its place in the front, and this goes in the back. Okay, that's good. Kind of takes its place. We're gonna have to see when I get there, but I'm gonna finish working on this first, obviously. So right now, the motor's there, the gear is there with all the bearings on the other gear. and it's not tightened yet, but it is a D shaft anyway, which I love. And the ESC, I'm gonna redo these wires. I'm going to take off all this tape that I put on it, and to hold the spare wire that goes for the smart batteries. I'm gonna take these off. I'll probably just cut them where I soldered them, and I'll use regular EC5 connectors that I have that are just plain ones that don't have that wire, and I'll save this for an occasion when I do need it, so that I don't destroy this. And I'll just join this to another piece of number 8 wire, and I have red and black and 8 gauge, and I'll make these longer a little bit, not even this much longer, because they don't need to be, because if it's right here, I don't need to go all the way out there, because these wires will be like there at the least, so like a few inches shorter, and then the middle wire is going to be that several inches longer, like 4 inches longer, so I can get to both sides easily. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm going to do some more research on fitting this stuff and what I need to print to mount this where I want to mount it, or what I need to order, or whatever it is. Hopefully print and not order, because I don't really want to have to wait for anything else. I kind of want to get this done. I thought I had everything I need, but you never know for sure if you really do have everything you need until you get there. So I'm here, so we're finding out now. So hopefully I have everything I need. If not, hopefully I can print it, or I'll even CNC machine it if I have to. So we'll see what I got to do, and I'll do it. And that's that. So I'll bring you guys back when I figure that out and when I start getting it done. Okay? All right, I will talk to you guys soon. Appreciate all of you, and we'll talk soon. I'll continue the video soon. Later. Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here. So I made a little progress on the XRT. I am just about ready to test drive it, almost, and of course I got my new springs in, and then I have a drive shaft coming too, and I also got these fans that I ordered with a mount, but I don't think I'm going to end up using them, even though I'm going to open it, because I may need one of the fans, because I only had one of these deep fans, and I found some stuff online to 3D print that fan mount, and I used this blue ABS glass fiber that I used for my Boron 3D printer, and it's a good color blue. It actually matches this pretty close, and it's not a CNC machined anodized part, but I'm not going to CNC machine every part and anodize it, or buy every part either, if I can help it. So I think I'm going to stick with that. This just had like it's like a C clamp that could fit over that size motor, and then it has the 2 fans on it, which is good, but I just might want these, which, I guess I'm going to have to use it anyway, buy it anyway, whatever. But I may just take the fan, because I already have the one fan cover and blue. Whatever. We'll see what I do. Anyway, so I had to sacrifice the radio box, which I'm sure you probably already knew. Everybody does. And I got the mod 1.5 gears in. But before I get off that topic, I was looking at gear covers, because the gear cover that was on here won't fit now. And I found several of them. I found several of them for sale that were 3D printed, that were CNC machined. And then I found an STL that I could buy for like $7. So I bought the STL, and it's printing right now, in the same ABS glass fiber in that same color blue. So you can see like the mount right here, this mount underneath here. If you can see that, this is in black TPU, the actual housing that's around the ESC. But underneath it, the mount that goes where the receiver box was is in the same color, and then so is this fan mount right here, that's like the one on each side in the V shape, and it's like rounded, so it goes over the motor. And then you use like zip ties. I use these metal zip ties that I have, and it worked out good. It's not going anywhere, that's for sure, and it'll definitely cool it with another one on the other side. And I'm gonna clean up these wires. I'll put these in a wire shield, and then I'll route this somewhere. I took the Traxxas radio out, transmitter receiver rather, and I put in one of my Spectrum ones that has the telemetry, and it also has the GPS for speed. Because this actually came with that built into it with the Traxxas Link, but I already took the old ESC, and I didn't put the motor because it wouldn't fit in the sledge. I keep saying slash because that's such a popular car from Traxxas, and I'm not even really very familiar with it, but every time I look stuff up, it's all saying slash. So anyways, I ended up putting that in the sledge, and that's doing great. And what was my point? And then, of course, after I did that, I got the new ESC. So I bought that sledge, and after the first time driving but the second time I turned it on, the ESC burnt out. So now I have a brand new ESC for that I got from Traxxas, but I'm going to just sell that. I'm not even going to open it. And the motor probably with it, because somebody needs the ESC, they'll probably need the motor, and I don't need the motor. But right now there's a Spectrum 2050, whatever it is, in there, because I can't fit a bigger size without a different motor mount, and I don't have a different motor mount right now. But this motor mount turned out to be great. It has the cradle in the back that supports it on the bottom and on the top, and then it pins down on the top and the front, and it's really supported all over the place. It has the bars going across the sides. It's a good mount. So I got it on Amazon. I don't recall. Matter of fact, I'll look it up and I'll tell you what it is in case you guys want. And so, anyways, I got off topic. I was talking about the Mod 1.5 gears, which they seem to mesh really well. It seems to be, nice and strong. But I got to thinking about that belt drive when I started looking up all the covers for this. And then I'm thinking to myself, I called the local hobby shop and was asking him about it, if he had access to it. And then I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, it's just a couple pulleys and a belt. This is stuff I do. I've made these pulleys and modified them for my lead screw, electronic lead screw, for my spindle motor on my CNC machine, for a lot of different stuff. I have these are all HTD5, and this is all HTD5, which is the 5mm spacing, which is the larger spacing. I'll show you a big pulley so you'll get the feel for how big the spacing actually is. These are big, like too big to use in here, too wide. These are 20mm wide. I'll probably use 10 or 15mm wide, but these are, that's the spacing of the teeth. Just to kind of give you, and then versus the HTD3, which HTD means high torque drive. So they're high torque drive belts, and then the spacing of the teeth is 3 or 5mm. So this is a 3mm spacing versus the 5. They're bigger teeth, they're farther apart. I mean, this is a bigger pulley also, but the belts are the teeth are farther apart, so they look beefier. I mean, this compared to a GT2 is really beefy. So that compared to this or a GT2 is even beefier. But I don't think this really calls for that. I mean, I know this is a powerful motor and it moves fast, but these belts hold 10, 15, 20,000 RPM while it's cutting steel, no problem. So I don't think HTD5 is even warranted. I mean, I might use it if it works out. I'm going to order some belts, some short belts. This belt may or may not work. That's the only short one that I have. Most of mine are all longer, so I didn't, I don't even in the HTD3, this was the next smallest one, and that's way too big for this. I mean, that's way too big. And most of my pulleys are too big. So I ordered a bunch of smaller pulleys. I mean, like I have these two pulleys that would potentially work, but with that spacing, it would be kind of far apart. It might work. But anyways, I'll have to, I'm going to order some different pulleys anyway, because I think I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to try it like this first. I'm gonna order them anyways because eventually I'll want to do it. I mean, I do want to do it, but eventually I don't want to do it right now because I just got this done and I don't want to open up another can of worms yet. So I'll want to do that eventually. But right now I'm just going to finish what I started. I have the 2-piece drive shaft coming in. I was hoping that was what this was, but I did get the springs. And then I have the only other modification I have coming is, so I did all the hinge pins. These are all now threaded with flange bolts, flange nuts, locking flange nuts, and they're it's like a bolt on the front, or it's a 7mm head, and they're M4, and I did all those. And the other thing I have coming is the second plate, the plate that holds the hinge pins. There's a second plate where you put one on the front, one on the back. So I have a set of those coming, and then the drive shaft and the springs, and that's it. I'm done. I just need to figure out a radio box, which I'll probably 3D print one. But it's already back together. I mean, it was kind of pointless because I'm gonna have to take it back apart again. The only thing I need is that gear cover, because I don't really want to drive it with the gears open, because, you know, I take it off road every time I drive it, so I don't see that being a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I just have to put the stainless steel. This is what I use on the bottom to protect it, rather than a brace. I mean, it's a brace. I mean, it's stainless steel. So these all go together. One goes in the front, one goes in the back, and this goes across the middle. So it holds all that together. I just have to put that back on. And I was hoping that the drive shaft would come in today, so while I had it on the bench, I could just do that too. And then there's the 2 side pieces also that are still on there that I didn't have to take off. But I'll have to open up the bottom when that comes in. So maybe I'll look at the tracking, and if it's coming in tomorrow, then I'll wait. If it's not coming in tomorrow, I'll just finish it later, because I'm eager to give it a shot. But also my Creighton, I made a video about that when I first started doing these, and watching it to put it online. It was like I was like so green to the hobby. I was like, I'm not even going to put this online. Who the hell wants to watch somebody that doesn't even know what they're doing? I had just started getting back into this hobby. I mean, I know a lot about this kind of stuff, electronics and gearing and belts and you know, that kind of stuff, but I didn't know a lot about the truck I was working on, or how to take it apart and put it back together, and I just looked dumb in my eyes. It wasn't worth putting up. So I will put up some videos on the modifications that I made to it, and I'll show you some of them right now, because there's a lot of modifications that I found through trial and error that ended up being really good. By trial and error, I mean, you know, modifying it, breaking it, and then modifying it again to where it didn't break. So yeah, trial and error, or breaking stuff, whatever you want to call it. So this is my Creighton, and I just also in the last day put this Mamba Monster X and 1650 kilovolt 8S motor in it, and it has it's not a Savox servo. This is it's a really good servo. It was like $150, or maybe, I don't remember, somewhere around there. It's an aluminum housing. It's aluminum color housing. It's AOC or so, I forget the name. But obviously I did all aluminum on this, and on my Typhon. I have a Typhon 6S that's all red aluminum as well, because for some reason red is very popular for these cars, and it's mostly what you find when I'm looking for the control arms, when I'm looking for the knuckles, whatever. You generally find red or black and red, and that's obviously what I have because it was the easiest to get, and also this was the EXP to start, and it came with mostly red. All the aluminum parts were red. The Traxxas were both blue, and I haven't had too much trouble finding that stuff in blue, and I haven't had to really compromise on the color much, which, I mean, I would if I had to, but I'd rather stick with the same color. Hence the green motor, right? Yeah, but I mean, for the best I can. But Yeah, so this is modified heavily. The things that I did find that ended up being really good modifications, I drilled and tapped these 4 holes and these 4 holes to M5, and I used M5 countersink bolts. They're much stronger. These are much more rigid, and they really pull this thing together. And I used the stainless steel cover on this also. And then also these hinge pins, I bent them, I broke them, I got titanium ones and broke them, you know, and then I ended up making my own out of high-speed steel that were thicker. They were 4.5 millimeter, and I bored out the holes, and the arms had enough meat on them, the aluminum did, to bore it out, and then that was much more resilient. It lasted me a lot longer. And eventually I broke those and the housings that they were in. Even though I had a steel housing on the front, I had machined out a steel housing, like the plate that retains the pins. That plate, I had made it out of 1018 steel, and that didn't break. That didn't even bend actually, but it made the pin, like it because it wouldn't bend or break, the pin did. So I mean, you're just kind of pushing it down the line. But what I found to be the best is these are 80 millimeter M5 grade 12.9, which is a metric grading. So to give you perspective, grade 10.9 is equivalent to an American grade 8. So grade 12.9 isn't even on an American grading scale. They're very strong bolts. They're socket head. They're like big socket head cap screws. Here, I'll show you what they look like. I have a whole bunch of them. This is what they look like. They're only partially threaded, which is what you want anyways in something like this. Yeah, you can get, I have them all the way threaded, but this is what I wanted to use. This is better for this application. Yeah, so because this part is stronger without the threads. So you only want, it would be better if it was only threads at the tip for this application, but I have them for general purpose. So I have some that are less thread, some that are more, but that was what I had for that size. And you can't go much further back because there's a locking flange nut in the back. And I barely had room for that with the servo saver right there. I had the bolt went through the nut a little bit, and I actually had to use my air saw and cut that little tiny piece of the bolt off because it was hitting the servo saver. So yeah, it's just, you know, you got very little room to work with. But I mean, I did everything on this one, aluminum, the arms, obviously, the shocks, even the shock, not only the shock caps and shock bottoms, but the shock covers, like everything is aluminum on this truck. The only thing left that are plastic is the wing and the mud guards and the carbon fiber here for a mud guard. But everything, the turnbuckles, the sway bar end links, every single piece of this thing is metal, which is good and bad. The springs are aftermarket from a spring company, from the guy from East Tactics. Did a lot of research, and I saw his videos, and I ended up ordering the springs that he had tested, and they were really good. So, you know, he'd take him up on his research, watch his videos, and you will probably save yourself some time and money. Or get yourself some better shocks, because this thing doesn't really bottom out even. The front, that's the front shocks a little bit. Yeah, it's a heavy truck, but the front shocks need a little more attention, and they don't have those same springs on them. I did have the springs on all 4. I ordered 2 sets, but I put the other set on the sledge in the back, because the back generally is the first thing to hit the ground, and it's the front on this truck, so that tells you right there. They're very strong springs. They're I think they're rated for 20 pounds or 18 when the stock was 7. But this is a 20-pound truck now, so, or 19-pound truck with the battery. Yeah, it's still chassis slapping in the front. Yeah, the front's heavy. Actually, it wasn't even chassis slapping. Oh, you know what? I didn't put the heavier fluid in these shocks. I was using lightweight differential fluid and that's actually from East Tactics. He mentioned that in his video, and I took his advice, and I used 10K. He had used 5K because I only had 10. I have 10K, 20, 50, 10, 30, 50, and then 100,000, 500,000, a million, 20 million. But I don't have really anything lower, so I just used that, and I mixed it with a little bit of 80 weight shock oil just to water it down a little bit. But it definitely made it. That's the shocks that I broke the shaft on. These have a 4mm shaft. That was the original EXB ones had a 3mm. But yeah, it's the front is where it's it's a little better, but it can take the chassis slap. I mean, that was the point, was to build this thing so that it could really take it. I mean, that stainless steel plate on the bottom, you see, here's the lock nuts in the back, if you can see them. Those are I drilled right through the aluminum piece that retained the old hinge pins, and it had those cups going through it, but these bolts are big enough, they basically fill that space. And I just drilled through it with a 5mm drill bit, and because they're M5, so they're just about 5mm. The 5mm bit made just the right size hole. If you have a metric drill bits, use a 5mm bit and you'll get the right size hole. Yeah, I mean, the wing mount, the only other, there is one other thing that's kind of plastic. It's 3D, well, it's plastic, it's 3D printed. It's a carbon fiber nylon, is this sprung wheelie bar that I have to replace one of the wheels on. But yeah, I gotta give that a little bit more freedom with the spring. But it does keep you in a wheelie for a while. And the arms are not the exact same. I actually had different color arms on it before, and I didn't really care, but I ended up switching them to red of the same type, because I had tried several different types, and of the different types that I found, so these front ones, the back ones that went with them didn't fit as well as these, as far as alignment, as far as just fitment. And these ones in the front didn't align right at all. So these rear ones were the thickest and strongest and best aligned out of the 4 or 5 different kinds that I tried. And then these front ones, the same thing with the front, because it was all in sets. The front ones, these were the best aligned. Other than there was another set that I did like the design of a little better. You know, the carbon fiber is okay, but they were just aluminum, and they were like more round barred, and I thought they would be stronger because of that. But the squared off is more strong for sure, because the rounded ones definitely bent a lot faster. But this, I haven't even test driven it outside yet with this motor in the SC. I drove it in here a little bit, and I mean, I have some space. I have this 10,000 square foot building, so I have like 50 yards over here, but I drove it up and down there, and it's the way it responds is very new to me. The sensored motor is very different, so it's going to take a little getting used to, but it's smoother. It's it's so much smoother. I like it. I like it. I mean, I got to drive it outside. I got to really take it for a real spin and see how I like it. But so far, I definitely see an improvement for sure. It's definitely something I like. So here's the sledge, and then I'll show you the 6S Typhon. And then I have these mud guards for all of them pretty much, but that one doesn't really have enough sidewall to put it on. That's why it's not on there. But this is the ESC that I put in there. I mean, not really much to see. I haven't cleaned up these wires either. This is all just stuff I just did. I'm just gonna probably zip tie this right here, and maybe I'll put a wire shield on it like I'm gonna do on the other one. Maybe, yeah, I might. But the blue servo motor is because, believe it or not, I had a $150 Savox in here. It's actually right here. and this thing went on me. Unfortunately, it's I'm frustrated, but I have a new one on the way, because this was one of the best servos I had used. It's the one I have in the Creighton, the same one. It's an SB2290 SG. And this was a crazy powerful, really good servo. I don't know what happened, it just died, but I've got a new one coming. So anyways, I'm gonna, I don't know, this is a 70 kilogram, and it's pretty strong. It's just very much slower to respond than that one was. I'll show you. And then this wire here, this is, I put the light kit in this, and I actually put one in the XRT too, but it's kind of hard to, I gotta figure out how to rewire it now. Yeah, see, there's a light on the two lights on the front, and then the light on the back, and that actually has a reverse light. So it's kind of cool. And the lights on the fan, I didn't even know were there until after I got it. All right. It's not linking up. Why isn't it linking up? I just had it working. The cool thing is that this ESC did come with the Bluetooth, and so did the controller. They both have the Bluetooth in them. I think this is one of the only ones that they sell with it in it. It is the Ultimate XRT. Okay, yeah, it's got the remote, but not the vehicle. Why not? Why the hell not? What's your problem, dude? Let me restart it. I don't know what its deal is. Alright, let's see what you're gonna do now. I think it should be good now. Or not. It's being a dick because I'm recording it probably. It was just working, I swear to God. I was testing out the servo. I probably got to open that damn radio box again. Maybe I should leave the freaking radio out. I'm not going to do it on that XRT because that's a $100 radio and a $60 GPS. I'm not going to leave it out. But because I do drive it in rain and all. Oh, there we go. So, I mean, for these are huge tires. They're very wide. They're really wide. So for this wide of tires, it's got a lot of torque. It's definitely turning them, but it's slow. You see how it's really slow. Watch. Let me turn on the Creighton and show you the difference, and you'll see it's a dramatic difference, because that's the same one that's in the Creighton right now. That's been in the Creighton since I rebuilt it. All right, I gotta switch here now. Okay. You see the speed of that? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. That's the Sabox is not what's in here. This is that other one that I was telling you, the AOC. This one is just as good as the Sabox, though. It's really just as good. The Sabox is just as fast as this. They're both. I think the time was almost the same on the rating. I don't really know if it's exactly that time, but I know that they don't compare. I mean, look at this. It's just, I mean, these are skinnier tires, and that one probably would go a little faster with those tires, but not that much faster. There's definitely still going to be a big difference. But anyways, I'll show you the Typhon real quick, and then I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll bring you guys back when I get the. I also have a 4S Outcast that I got new differentials for, because I kept stripping out the differentials. So I got metal differentials for it. I'm going to put those in right here. These are the 4S differentials, and then I got the center differential too. And I already have the gearbox, and I had a differential locker, but I ended up just using a regular differential with high weight fluid, or you can't even really call it fluid at that point. The 20 million is definitely not fluid. This is the Typhon. Let me turn the camera back down. So this is completely built too. There's no real plastic on this one either. So this is another one I kind of went all out on. Another 70 kilogram servo, this does have the original motor in ESC though. I didn't change that on this one. It's plenty fast as it is, so there was no need. But it's got aluminum control arms, knuckles, aftermarket drive shafts. I'm having such a brain fart. The steering, but the bell cranks, not the bell crank, the bell crank too, but the turnbuckles. Oh my God, the turnbuckles. And you can see my shock tower is kind of bent, but I think my shock tower is bending because of the shock tension. Because this one is not clapping, is not chassis slapping. Now it is, but it wasn't. And I think I have to reinforce that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shocks off and take that plate off, and I'm going to machine something out of steel to mount on the back of that. That's going to have to go. It's probably just going to go up against it from the differential housing up, and bolt through to it. I'll flatten this out on my vise. And it'll just I'll put it in these 4 holes, maybe, yeah, probably across these 4 holes into the shock tower mounts, and let the shocks go through it as well. I'll have to make shock mounts that'll be that long, but fairly maybe 5/16 steel, and that'll beef it up plenty, and it won't bend again. But yeah, I have a feeling that's what's doing it, is the shock tension, because they're pretty tense. That, or maybe when I'm beating on it. I mean, I haven't really beat on this one all that much. I haven't driven it all that much, but I do enjoy it. It's fast as hell, and it's fun to drive. It's very fast. That little thing really gets up and goes. But I actually enjoy, believe it or not, all the money I sunk into that. I just wanted to do one car type of RC. I still kind of want to do a Dodge Challenger, because I have a Dodge Challenger. I want to do one that looks just like mine. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I wanted to do one car because they're smaller and faster, and that's the one I ended up with, and I ended up building out. But yeah, so that's it. So if anybody is in the market for a VXL 6S, let me know. And a 2000 kilovolt motor. Here's a VXL 6S, brand new, never opened, haven't touched it. And here's a motor, right from Traxxas. It's the original sledge motor and ESC. Yeah, designed for use for 2000 kilovolt motor. I don't know what happened to the other one. I mean, they make so many vehicles in ESCs. Something's bound to go wrong with one of them or some of them. So maybe that's all it is. I mean, doing some research, I did find some other people had the same experience, but the 8S, even on 8S, has no problems at all. So, I mean, maybe it was a fluke. I don't know. But, I mean, I know I haven't used this one, and it's brand new, so Traxxas will I mean, it's brand new. I mean, if worst comes to worst, I will call Traxxas for you. Or whoever I end up selling it to. But I don't have a use for it. I have two Firmas that I'm not using right now, a 150 and a 160, which I'll probably put the 160 in something that I have, and take out something smaller, the 150 that I have in the Typhon, or the 130 that I have in the 4S, which is actually a 6S because I put a 130 in it. But anyways, I will bring you guys back tomorrow. I gotta go. I got some stuff I gotta do. But I'm gonna try to wrap up this car tomorrow. This gear housing is printing. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. I gotta stop that. It's spaghettiing. I gotta restart this because the supports are not in the right spot. I tried to get away with not a lot of supports, and I probably shouldn't be trying to get away with stuff when I'm trying to print something I actually need. So I'll reset that with more support that I can get it to print right and get it printed. And by the time I do the next segment of the video, I'll have that printed and on the truck, hopefully. And I will hopefully get the drive shaft. I'm going to look into the tracking on that shortly here. When I leave, I'll take a look while I'm driving and see when that's coming. And if it's coming tomorrow, I mean, I ordered it a few days ago, so it could very well be coming tomorrow. If it's coming tomorrow, I'll probably put that in and get that done too, because I don't want to have to I don't want to put it all the way back together and then just have to take it apart again. But so if it's coming soon, I'll wait on it. If it's not, I won't. But I'll let you guys know either way. If it's not coming tomorrow, then I'll just keep going. All right, support, I'm going to just take build plate only off and let it do as much support as it needs and reprint it. Okay, it's not a whole lot more. Okay, send it. All right, so yeah, that's it. So hopefully that my expensive journey, I mean, I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it and because I got into it and now I'm into it, and that's that. But if I'm doing it and it's costing me money and time, why not share the experience? And hopefully you guys get something out of it. So that's the hope. And I will see you guys in the next 30 seconds. Well, 5 seconds for you, 2 seconds, a split second when I start the next segment and put it together later. What's going on, guys? Chris again. So I made some significant progress on the XRT. I got the the last segment I had the ESC mounted, but I didn't know what I was going to do with the receiver, and I also didn't have so I got the model that I bought for $7, the STL file for the 3D printed gear cover. Worked out really good. So you can see I got the gears covered, and I printed it in blue. The actual regular ABS turned out to be better than the ABS carbon fiber. I mean ABS glass fiber, because the ABS glass fiber would have been better if it had a little bit more mass to it, because it's so thin. Regular ABS actually is stronger because the glass fiber needs a little bit more bulk to adhere to get that kind of strength. But it gets a lot more strength than regular ABS or a lot of other things when it's thicker. But when it's thinner, it's a little more brittle. So this turned out to work out good. I haven't driven it yet. I did program the ESC. I got the radio in the box, the receiver in the box, the GPS hooked up to it. That's the Spectrum one that I've been using on a lot of the cars. They're SR6100 AT receiver, and then you get the GPS module and it plugs right into it, and you get the speed right on the controller, which is awesome. Also, I wanted to make note that I got a new set of batteries. The ZEE is the company. The 10,000 milliamp hour four cell batteries fit in these compartments perfectly. Honestly, I thought I was going to have to take these covers off, but these batteries are like they're made to fit in here. They're not the hard case though, but you don't really need them to be the hard case in this compartment when it has the door able to be shut, because it's pretty tight. But they fit like literally as if they were made to be in this compartment. Maybe they did make them to fit in here, but I mean, for a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, 2 of them, so you actually have one full 10,000 milliamp hours on 8 cells. That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's to fit in the original case, in the original battery housings. That's pretty cool. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought I was going to have to, for the bigger batteries that I was getting, like I haven't tried the smart batteries yet. I got this, actually, that's not true. The 6,800 amp hour 4-cell smart batteries, the Spectrum smart batteries that I got do work. The 10,000 milliamp hour 4-cell Spectrum smart batteries, I don't know. I haven't tried yet. So we'll have to see if those work. But I know the Z batteries are good in my experience. They have been so far, the ones that I've gotten. So I'm really excited that they actually fit and I don't have to modify it. So the only things left are, I got the 2 fans in and they're hooked up and they're on the mount that I printed. And I just have to clean up this wiring. This is the wires going to the motor, so I cleaned that up. I'm just going to fasten it down, and then I'm going to clean up all this wiring. These fans came with a switch that turns them on and off. I think I'm going to get rid of that because you have the switch that turns on the whole thing, and then I have to get a mount. I'm going to 3D print a mount for the switch as well, because there's really nothing on it to mount it. So I'm going to make a 3D print the housing for it. And the GPS, I usually just put it on top of the radio box, which I made a little hole for this to come out, and then it's going to fit the little plastic thing that goes over it, the antenna. And then I usually put the GPS like right there and Velcro it right on top, and it's fine right there. It's light. It's not like the other GPS modules. And then I have the original Traxxas lighting thing that I have to look up. So I have to look up some of the diagrams and see how to wire that. If I'm going to be able to use it, I got to figure out what their wiring is. Like, what I need to know what these wires go to and what they need to be put to. So I'll have to try to figure that stuff out. But that's about it. I mean, it's ready to drive. So I have this on, but it's not screwed down. So the design of this is pretty cool. So there's a piece that goes. And I have the modified shaft for it's not the Cush drive or whatever. It's a regular shaft, but it has a mount with a bearing on the inside as well. So it has 3 points of contact with bearings. So honestly, I think that's a huge upgrade. I think that's a really worthy upgrade to have the shaft with 3 points of contact with the that front bearing. Is taking a lot of load, especially if I'm thinking about doing the belt drive. I don't need to buy it. I'll just make it myself. But if I do it, then it's not, I guess it's not really putting more attention, because high torque drive belts are fascinating. They don't need to be very tight. I mean, they're just like snug, but they're supposed to have like a little bit of slack, because the teeth in them are really rigid. They're really strong. And they don't slip, even in a high-speed spindle with a crazy amount of torque cutting steel. They don't slip. It's pretty impressive. But I have the gears in, perfect mesh, just barely a tiny little bit of backlash, just a hair. I got it pretty nice. I like this mount. This mount's working really good. But the 1.5 gears, they are loud. I'll let you hear it. I have the batteries hooked up, I believe. Yep. So let me just get my controller and put it to this vehicle. Where did I put it? I was just using it. What did I just do with it? Excuse me. I don't know where I put it. I'm surprised it's not screaming at me yet, because these things, anytime you leave it on and like a little bit of time passes, unless I shut it off, it starts beeping at you like crazy. It's not over there, but I have no idea where I put this thing. Anyways, so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Also, the Castle motor that I put in the Creighton, I have to say I had to call them because I couldn't get I had another one of the same receivers in that, and I couldn't get it to program manually, because apparently it's because of that receiver, because Spectrum does something that's proprietary, which is frustrating, to say the least. It's very frustrating. I was like ready to get rid of them all and get a different brand, because I hate when people do that, especially with something like a receiver that could be used on any vehicle. I'm going to get really frustrated with this. Especially on something like that you buy a receiver. It's not supposed to be only used with one brand. Especially those receivers are $100 each. So that you buy a $100 receiver and another $60 GPS unit, and then you can't use it with any other manufacturer's stuff. It's very frustrating. I don't know what other adjectives to use to describe how I feel about that. The gentleman on the phone felt the same way, but the reason I bring it up is because their customer service, in their literature, it says our world-class customer service. And I even told the guy that I had read that, And it actually felt like that. It actually felt like world-class customer service because they he knew what he was doing. And I have the DX5 Pro controller, and he knew like where the controls were on the controller. He was really knowledgeable, and he they picked up the phone like as if I called him at his house. Like you call and they actually answer the phone. It was, it shouldn't be such a foreign thing, but it is. I can't believe I really can't find this controller. It's probably right in front of me. Anyways, I really want to find it so you guys can hear this. And plus, I was just gonna drive the I was just gonna drive the Creighton with the new motor because I got the programming cable for it today, and I programmed it, and I want to see how it does. Because when I first hooked it up, I wasn't able to hook up the sensor wire, and the sensor wire, I had to disconnect it so that I could reverse two of the cables to get the direction of the motor correct. And I got to correct that while I was on the phone with him also, because he got it. He had been through this before, and because Spectrum is like non-existent for customer service ever, it's essentially, you're on your own. But he actually had been through this before because of that exact reason, that nobody else can get a hold of Spectrum. And if you have some of their equipment that mixes with Castle's, then Castle has to deal with it because nobody at Spectrum is going to. Which I don't know why I ever got. I do know why, but I wish I hadn't gotten started on Spectrum stuff because I wasted a bunch of money on a company that I don't really like in the end. Unfortunately, that's how it is. I really am. I'm really mind effed that I can't find this controller, but I'm sorry. I wanted to show you this. I wanted to show you this. You'd let you hear it at least turning, but I'm definitely going to be taking it out very soon. I don't know where the controller is. It's definitely here somewhere, and I have several others, but then I got to rebind this thing and all that. I'll make another segment with it when I find it. But yeah, so Castle, their customer service was amazing. And I mean, they're picking up the slack for another company on top of it, which is pretty profound. And not a lot of companies are willing to do that and able at the same time without any support from the other. And he said he's even reached out to them to get some assistance in fixing their stuff, and they don't even respond. So just like they are with us. I mean, you might get an email back a week later, but that's it. You can't call anybody, and they're not going to call you. So it's really shitty. It really is. But if I had known all that, well, then again, hindsight's always 20/20. If I had known many things that I know now, before I found them out the way I did, I wouldn't have done a lot of things I've done in my life. But that's another one of them. There's just one more of them. The buying the Spectrum stuff when Spectrum is that kind of company, because I'm not into that. I don't really like that. But what I do like is that this cover being two pieces. The first piece fastens down just the way the old cover did, and then the second piece goes into it with 4 screws. And it does have the 3D printed holes, or the size of them is exactly what you need to get it to thread in. But what I did is I put these heat set inserts that I have. That the heat set inserts have a flange on the bottom, or on one side, and you use it on the bottom so that they thread in, and then it pulls on that flange going up. So it really pulls it together really well. So you actually have these screws are too short. You actually have something to really something metal to actually thread into. So, and then whatever, as long as it's fastened down well, then you're good. But anyways, good. It's a good suggestion. The fasteners are only a couple dollars on AliExpress. That's where I got them, and you see how this thing pulls down. If you can see it from there, it really sucks it together. Yeah, see, I'm impacting on it. So it's And that's in, I mean, it's just in ABS. I mean, I did print it 100% infill, but it's very thin, so 100% infill isn't much. See, it's impacting again on that, and it's no problem for it. But it's, and there's no rubbing, that's really why I ran the motor, because I wanted to program the ESC. And I did get the programming box like I have for the Spectrum stuff, which I'm not even going to keep this. I'm probably going to send back the 160 amp ESC too, because I'm not using it for anything right now, and I don't really want to fund a company like that. So I got 30 days to return it with Amazon, so I'll just send it back. I'll send back whatever I bought that's Spectrum that's within 30 days right now. So because I really don't like that. I don't like that they try to corner you into like, oh, okay, you bought our receiver, now you have to buy everything else from us. And the batteries, I'm about to send those batteries back too. Because really, I don't really like that they have to be charged on that particular charger. And I got 6 or 8 of them. So those should all, they're not all within 30 days. I can probably return 4 of them. And for those 4, I could probably buy 8 of these Z batteries, because they're literally double the price, almost. So yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Spectrum. I mean, their stuff is pretty good. It's reliable for the most part, but when it's not, there should be some kind of customer support. Anyways, let me not go on a rant about them. So back to the car. It's almost done. I mean, it's essentially it's done. I could throw the tires on it and drive it right now, but I have the Creighton to mess around with right now. So that's where my brain is at, where my focus is. It's not that it's not on this. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of work on it. Oh, also, I did this. The springs came in for the shocks. I put those on, and while I had the shocks off, I ended up doing so the pins that came with the pin replacements that all they have the threads on the other side to replace the hinge pins. I did use those mostly. That came in the set that I bought, but I had some from the Creighton control arms that were they're smaller, but they were good for the shocks. So they're these ones that they came with some of the control arm kits, and they have a 2.5 millimeter but a big head, and then it's a 4 millimeter, but it goes down to a 3 millimeter thread at the end, which is fine for the shock mounts. And it was the perfect length for the top, the longer one, and then the shorter one that was for something else on the Creighton, the same type of bolt, was perfect for the bottom one. So I ended up using some of those, and I ended up using those for the shocks. Luckily, I had bought a lot of control arms for the Creighton before I landed on the right ones, so I had a bunch of them. So it worked out. I had enough to do all the shock mounts, all the knuckles, all the control. Everything has pins with threads and flange bolts. No more hinge pins with 2 millimeter or M3 button head screws to pin them down, because that's bound to fail at some point. So I think that's a really worthy upgrade. And then I also got these in. These are the additional steel plates for the pins, but I'm gonna have to get even longer ones. I don't think these are gonna actually fit with these now. But also, I realized that this Ultimate version already has 2. It already has 2 of these, and then also I have the aluminum bulkheads on the top. So really, I didn't really need these. And the bottom has 2 already as well. So I really didn't need those. Maybe I'll use them at some point. Maybe if I get an X-Max or something, they'll fit that. Maybe I'll use them on a future vehicle or whatever. But anyways, I'm happy because the 2 main problems that I didn't have a solution for are resolved. The cover for this, because I don't want to get dirt and whatever in there, and the radio box and really the layout. So that's all done. It's just wire cleanup and that's it. I mean, it's ready to roll. When I tried it with, I got a bunch of mod 1.5 gears because I didn't know what ratio I was going to go with. I had all the way from 20 to 30, like 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And I mean, I do have all those sizes. I just ended up going a lot smaller because the speed, I didn't drive it. Like I said, it's been right here, but the speed that the hubs were turning was not all that fast. It didn't seem to me. I mean, then again, I'd have to see it driving, but it didn't seem like it was all that fast. So I geared it down from a 25 to a 20, and I didn't even bother trying to go up. I mean, these also could be used on the other shaft. They do have spacers to fill in from the 5 to the 8 millimeter, or that shaft I think is bigger now. I don't, I just closed it, so I'm not going to open it again. But I think it's bigger now, and if it's not, I'm going to probably get the 8 millimeter shaft, so it's 8 on both, even just for concentricity, just for like consistency, so that they're both 8 millimeter. But also because it's a beefier shaft, and then it probably gets a smaller point on the end. I could even machine that out of high carbon steel, and those exact dimensions with the pinhole in the right place, and make it that exact outer diameter for the inner diameter of the bearing on in all 3 locations. But or you'd have to use different bearings with a bigger inner diameter and the same outer diameter to sit in the same seat. But anyways, I'm not going to say I'm close to done, because I'll find a million more things. I know myself, but this is where I am right now, and I'm just about ready to take it out. I didn't get the drive shaft yet, which I'm kind of disappointed about, because even if it does come tomorrow, I'll probably have this out driving it before it gets here. But if it does come tomorrow, I'll put it in. I would like to have that in with this motor, because I know that this drive shaft has a reputation for going, and I don't know if it's from flexing or from a high torque motor like this, but I guess we're going to find out, because if I don't think I'm going to get them by then, because I can't even find what company they shipped it with. And they charge me like 12 bucks for shipping, and they don't even, it's some like weird tracking number that doesn't go to USPS, doesn't go to FedEx, doesn't go to DHL, doesn't go to UPS. I don't know where it's from. It's from some, third world shipping company that I don't know what it is, and I can't find it, and Google doesn't know what it is. So I'll get it when I get it, I guess, which is stupid, because it wasn't cheap. It's not like I bought that from AliExpress or something. I bought that directly from, I forget the name of the company, but it's a pretty well-known drive shaft for this car. But so maybe you guys have already been through it. But anyways, I just wanted to make a quick segment and let you guys see the progress where I am so far. And this is where I am. I got the ESC mounted and the wires cleaned up going to the motor. These are just the battery wires, which I'd like to put these in a cable. Maybe I'll put it like up to here, like up to where it splits into the two. Maybe I'll just put some of this is the kind that I ended up using. I have a bunch of different kinds of this wire loom. So I brought several of them over here to try to figure out which one to use. But maybe I'll use one of the smaller ones on these up to where they close. And then I have even smaller stuff that I can use for like these little wires to clean this all up, because I don't want it to be looking like a mess in here. And like there's a small wire loom on the factory Traxxas lighting setup, which that's the only thing that sucks, that I don't have a way to plug it in now. But I do on the sledge from putting the 8S motor in there, but I got my 6S motor for it, which I'm not going to use. I talked about that already. But anyways, I'll figure out how to wire it. But that's it for now. New shocks, I did get the additional plates, but found out I didn't need them. I got the new springs. I got the all of the hinge pins out, and they're all threaded with flange nuts, and the 3D printed gear cover. And I should offer those to sell them. I will. I am offering to sell them if somebody needs one for a Mod 1.5, because it's not easy to find these. There is places that are making them now, but they're like 80 bucks for the aluminum ones, and even the 3D printed ones are like 30 bucks. And I could make them better, that are like, I'll show you this up closer, and there's no imperfections on it. Like they even warn you about the imperfections on the advertisement. I mean, look how that printed. There's no imperfections on it. It came out really clean. So I can print them like that, and I can sell them for 20 bucks with all the hardware installed, with the heat sinks in there that I was telling you about, the flange heat sinks, and the stainless steel bolts and all that. I mean, I could sell it like that for 20 bucks. So that I will sell it for 20 bucks. Anybody that wants it, 20 bucks. I will make you one and put all the hardware into it, 20 bucks a piece. So that's it. I will be back with you guys soon. I'll be making another segment soon. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have that thing out driving, or I'm gonna have it out driving either way tomorrow for sure. So I will take you guys with me in the field to see both the Creighton and that, and see how fast they're going, and see how they're doing, and do some jumps off the ramp I built. I'll show you that too. All right. And oh, I finished the Outcast, the 4S. I put all the new differentials, and that's ready to go. That's my main jumper truck, so I'll be launching that off the ramp too. I'll bring you guys. You'll see. All right. Have a good day, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. Later. What's going on, guys? Chris here. So I still haven't gotten the axle. The drive shaft rather. So that's not done. But I cleaned up all the wires. I got this thing 3D printed. I had that done last time you guys saw it. I fitted it, and the cover fits and everything. I changed the way I had the ESC mounted. I did, close up the radio box. I put the antenna in to cover the antenna and seal it up. And I turned the Hobbywing ESC because I had the Traxxas light module mounted right here, and I should have figured this from the beginning, but I finally came to the realization that I'm not going to be able to salvage that. It's just not going to work with this ESC the way it is. So I'm going to wire it myself. I already have the first, I'm just making like the same thing like they did, just a wire shielded connection that can easily pull apart. I'm using 2.5mm JST connectors, so it'll just pull easily apart. But unlike with theirs, it's those pins can bend on the open pins on the those are Molex, but the JSTs are much shorter pins, and they're more closed up. So that's why I decided to use the 2.5mm JST. Plus, I'm very familiar with them from building several 3D printers. So that's what most of the 3D printer connections are. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire the lights myself. I'm going to take power. I'm going to use a MOSFET, a MOSFET switch, same as you would on a 3D printer or many other things. It's like solid state relay type of thing. You take the power from the battery, and that's going to go into the input, and then the output is going to go to all the lights, because they take higher voltage than you can get from the receiver. But the receiver is just what you need for a signal to trigger the MOSFET. So it's a micro MOSFET. It's an inline MOSFET. It'll be not too much bigger than the wires, and it just has tiny little screw terminals. And you put the two wires coming in that are going to be these two right here. That I have a Molex connector, a male Molex connector, like they originally like the other one. But I'm just going to stick these right into the battery cables because they're silicone, so this will easily go through, and this is PVC covered wire. But I'll stick these right into the wires, and then I'll wrap them with this tape. This is it's Scotch electrical tape, but it's not regular electrical tape. Like, it adheres to itself and makes a watertight seal. So after I puncture the wires with these, I'll wrap it with that around each one individually, and then around them both. And then this will feed the power to the MOSFET, and then from the MOSFET out to the lights, to all the lights. I'm not going to have, it's really simple the way that they do, like the reverse. When your light changes color on your ESC, when you go in reverse from your transmitter, it's just adding a ground. It's just, so if I were to hook up the ground for that reverse signal, which I did label it and run the wire in case I wanted to figure out, where I could pull a ground from that's sending the same signal to that light on the ESC. If I want to do it later, maybe I'll try to figure it out, but I'm not going to do it right now. I just did a little bit of troubleshooting, a little bit of testing with the multimeter, and figured out what I need to do to get them to work. But I'm just going to have a headlight and tail light. And really the only reason I even put the lights on is because I take my dog to the park at night sometimes. I took him last night at like 10 o'clock. I left at 10 o'clock, but we were out there for an hour in the dark. And I got the big light on my truck and the spotlight. So it's good to know what direction it's facing between the white and the red light, and so if it's coming towards you or away from you, and and you can see where the hell it is. So it's that's why I put the lights on almost all of these, because I usually play with him with them, and I need to be able to see it when it's at night. During the day, it doesn't really matter. I don't plug them in during the day. They have that quick disconnect plug on all the RCs that I put them on, which isn't all of them, but it's 2 or 3 of them. And the switch that was here for the fans, I left it there. I don't think I'll ever use it. I'll just leave it on. But that's for these 2 fans on the motor. And that's it. But there's nothing stopping me from driving it right now. I 3D printed the housing for the power button. It's over here mounted. You can probably see it. Yeah, I didn't have the controller yesterday. It was actually in my truck. But I'm going to show you right now that it's, there we go. There's steering. So yeah, I haven't done any programming on it because I don't have the programming module yet, but it's actually getting delivered today. So that's the only thing left that I would really like to do before I drive it, because I would like to know where the brake is. I'd like to know where the punch is, the typical settings. I'd like to know where they are before I start driving and not knowing how the settings are. So yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm much happier with it. I mean, I'm not going to even say a little. I'm OCD, and so like I want everything to be completely done perfectly before I stop doing it. But I can't always do that, so I have to figure out a way to get my mind off of it. But I'm just going to figure out a way to get my mind off it by slapping the tires on it and driving it. So by the time I can drive myself nuts about something, I'm already driving it, having a good time. So. That's it. And the wiring, I mean, I just have, the MOSFETs won't be here today. I ordered them today, so they'll be here tomorrow. They come a dozen of them for like $10. They're really cheap. But an application like this, and there's so many of them, I've used them. I have like really high intensity headlights on my Challenger, and I had to use a MOSFET because it was blowing the fuse for the headlights, and I couldn't use the regular headlight wire. So I had to run heavier gauge wire and you trigger that from a MOSFET on the headlight switch. So, I mean, there's so many applications for those type of switches, and these can take up to 30 amp, 15, they say up to 15, but maximum 30. So I guess it's probably like a surge of 30. So, but 15 amps is like a typical circuit breaker. At 20 amp, it's not bad. So you can have an electronic switch that automatically turns on and off by a lower voltage signal, which in a lot of situations when you have, low voltage to activate and deactivate, you have some other sort of logic signal that's 5 volts. So like you do here. So anyways, it comes in really handy, and it's very easy to do. I mean, you just put the power in, power out, and then a signal wire and ground. That's it. So honestly, I mean, a switch is obviously easier. You just have power in and power out, but it's very simple. So anyways, the Creighton is that motor is crazy. That Castle motor, I can't wait to see this one, but the Castle motor is blowing my mind. I shredded a differential. I've never burnt out a differential like that, where the gears were destroyed, all chunks of metal in it. I spent like half an hour cleaning it out with parts cleaner. It destroyed a differential. It snapped the shaft. It snapped the shaft on one that I had the hardened steel gears in, and none of the gears got broken, but the shaft broke in the gear, and the other one had no hardened steel gears, just original gears, and it destroyed those gears. I might actually have some pieces of them left over here, or one of the sun gears that's like mush. It totally demolished that whole freaking thing. This is the cleaner I was using. I thought I had one left over here. Maybe I don't. I thought I had I left a piece of it because I was gonna show you. I was gonna show it the next time I recorded it, but I guess I didn't save it. I threw it all out, or I balled it all up in this. Yep, there it is. That's what's left of the sun gear. Demolished. Just totally wreaked havoc on it. I'm not gonna get my fingers in the way, but it's kind of hard to hold. You see the teeth all, and then there's all like metal shards in here. I don't know if you can see them between the grease and the metal pieces, but here's the other side gear. It's in like 5 or 6 pieces. Yeah, so it just demolished that differential. That motor's got some real freaking power. And the truck is, I mean, I haven't even really been able to really see what it has because I keep breaking shit. I mean, it's definitely got a lot of power. The Traxxas sledge with the 8S ESC, I got that thing up to 82 miles an hour last night on a straightaway at the place where I take my dog to run, and another good situation that I had the light. But I took a screen, yeah, 82. I took a screenshot of it. $82 miles an hour for a Traxxas sledge. That's pretty impressive. I was mind fucked. I took like several photos because it kept going up. I had 73, 75, 80, and then 82. And every time I was like, holy crap, man. And it got up to that speed pretty quick, and there's big tires on it. They're Proline trenchers. They're wide. So I meant if it had like smaller belted tires on it that aren't so big, like both width-wise and, I mean, they're not that high. They're about the average size. So maybe it didn't make too much of a difference. I don't really know. But I mean, the weight of them, I'm thinking made a big difference because they're pretty big. They're like 3 and change inches wide, and they're belted. They're pretty heavy tires. Obviously, it didn't make any difference to get it up higher than it is even advertised to get. But, you know, I modified it. So anyways, it worked out good. So if you have an 8S ESC from a Traxxas XRT or similar, or you're looking for an ESC to upgrade it, definitely a good one. You get to keep the lights and all the original stuff, and it's a Traxxas ESC, and it gives it all the power you're ever going to want. I mean, it was doing burnouts with those tires, and all the differentials in that truck and this one. You saw that in this video, I'm sure. I did all hardened steel gears in the internals, and then metal housings on the differentials, because the differentials are going to get destroyed if you don't do that stuff and you add power. But anyways, I just wanted to show you that really quick, this last few things before I put the tires on and drive it, because I'll take some video driving it, but I'm not going to have it out like this again, not in this video anyway. So very short video. I'm going to mess around with the Creighton, and then once the programmer comes in, I'm going to take this out tonight. So I'll see you guys on the next one. If I don't know if I'm actually going to have time to take it out tonight, but I'm taking it out before I do another video tomorrow, yeah, afternoon, whatever. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to add some driving with this before I put it up. So there'll be some driving video with this before I put the video up. I want you to see it actually in action after all the work. All right, later. What's going on, guys? So I just did a video. I haven't put it up yet. I'm going to put it up hopefully later tonight. I did a video on building out this XRT, this Traxxas XRT Ultimate I had. I got this on Marketplace for actually a pretty good price. It was barely even used. It looked brand new. I got it for $800. It was all stock, obviously, but I mean, I got 2 batteries with it. I did really good on it. But so I know this has obviously got to be a common problem, because I've seen other people have it, and I see that there's like, I mean, these pieces right here, there's not really wheel hubs like on the other smaller ones. These have just this piece that goes on the spline that goes to, like, you know, it's not a standard 24 millimeter. Of course, it has to have these. They try to make it proprietary, which I'm gonna make steel pieces that have that spline on the inside and have a straight 24 millimeter outside diameter. So like a hex at 24 millimeter, I'm gonna make those at some point. But right now, I had 2 of these strip. The one that I repaired held, and that was fine. I turned a smaller bolt into this. I just reamed it out and then threaded it. But so what I did right now for the other one, I actually ordered 4 of these stub axles, which I don't need any of now, because what I did is, I'm going to show you what I did, because this is obviously a common problem. It's aluminum. It strips. Aluminum, when you're taking tires on and off frequently, it's going to strip. So I found a permanent solution, and it's not actually what I anticipated. I was going to take the stub axle out, and I was going to turn it down on my lathe to a smaller size, and then thread it, and then put these thread adapters on the stub axle, which these go from an M8 to an M12, and these are already M12, the thread on it. It's a 17 millimeter nut, but on the inside it's threaded M12 1.0, which is not a standard thread. I have the tap and die for it, but it's not a standard like, it doesn't come in a standard tap and die set. You have to order that specifically. But I did 1.5. These are M12 1.5 because that's what these thread adapters were, and they go to an M8. So the inside of the aluminum is hollow, so there wasn't enough meat left. It just broke off. So what I did is I said, oh, you know what? I'll just thread the inside, use a grade 12.9 bolt, which is grade 12.9 is a metric grading system. Metric grading system, the equivalent of grade 8 is 10.9. So 12.9, the American grading system doesn't even have anything equivalent. So they're very strong bolts. So I made the threads into the stub axle for the bolt, and then the bolt sticks out enough to put the thread adapter on, and that's my threads. And then I took lock nuts, which coincidentally have a blue nylock. So the blue nylock is gonna match, kind of, but obviously that was coincidence. But they thread on nice and easy, steel on steel. No, you're not touching it. The only aluminum is just this 24 millimeter, proprietary bullshit thing. But now there won't be any stripping going on. And I really didn't need those stub axles. I ordered 4 of them just to do all 4 tires, all 4 rims, but all 4 wheels, whatever. But I don't need any of them because this is a permanent solution. So I'm going to do the other 2 with you guys so you can see how I did it. And I mean, it's definitely, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm extraordinarily confident saying that it's a permanent solution, because I've done a million repairs like this. I've done a million different things like this. And this is definitely a permanent solution, because this is far enough into the aluminum and it's locked. I put 277 red Loctite because I don't ever intend on taking it out. I might even use 680 retaining compound, Loctite 680. It's a retaining compound for metal on metal, and you're basically never getting that out. But you never need to take this out. So I mean, it's pointless to ever have to be able to take it out, because if you ever have to take this out, I mean, you may as well just, I mean, you could put the red 277 where you could just, I mean, you could heat the 680. If you heat it enough, it'll come off. But this has nothing to grab. The thread adapter has nothing to grab. It is made to have that flathead, the little slot in it. I'll show you when I get in the workshop in the back, my metal shop in the back, when I do the next one. I'll show you what I mean. But it is made to have a flathead, be able to turn it, a large flathead. But it's unnecessary. I'm not going to need the large flathead to turn it at all. This is a permanent fix. I'll show you what I mean. We're gonna and honestly, I think I'm gonna replace. I've been replacing these threaded pieces that replace the hinge pins. They come with rubber O-ring type of things to avoid damaging the plastic. But I've been using these nylon washers that I have, and also now I'm thinking I'm probably going to replace all of those with my own M12, with my own grade 12.9, grade 12.8 hardware, bolt nuts and bolts. So I think I'm going to get rid of all these. I ordered that set for I don't know what, because now I think I'm going to bore all these out to be M5 through the aluminum, through the arms, because there was some meat left from, I mean, the nut is over it right now. I do have to take the other leg off, so we'll see in a second. The other arms off, rather. But I believe that I'm going to have enough meat. Matter of fact, before I do that, let me put these 2 tires on, because now they're going to thread on nice and easy and not have to have any nonsense. I don't know what size nut this is. I should probably figure that out so I can torque it down with the with the impact, the angled impact. Let's see. And then, yeah, here's the other one. Okay, let me grab my sockets. I think it's an 18 or a 19 millimeter, it looks like. Let's try the 18. Watch it be a 19 now that I grabbed the 18. Yeah, sure enough. So these nuts were M12 nuts, but they were 1.75, and these are 1.5 threads, the thread pitch. Okay, so it doesn't quite catch the nylock, so I'm going to have to put some Loctite on those. But yeah, they're staying right in place. That red Loctite is doing its job. I'm using blue 243. The difference between 242 and 243 is that the 243 is made to be like resistant to oils and stuff. So it's obviously perfect for something like this where I just cut the threads. But that's why that's the only one I use, really. I do have 242, which I'll use for lighter applications. See, now you could impact it and don't have to worry about ripping threads, trashing threads, and it's on there nice and tight. Don't have to worry about it. Where's my other wheel? Oh. And then I'm going to do both of the other two, and you guys are going to do them with me. Is that one not sitting as far down? It must just not be sticking as far out, that's all. All right, this one's probably going to hit the nylock because it is sticking a little further out, but I'm going to use the Loctite anyway. These are pretty big nuts, though. It might be the same thing. It sticks out a little bit further. It kind of hits the lock, but not completely. But these are nice and tight. I'm not going to have to worry about those coming loose. I'm not going to have to worry about the threads. I can whack them on and off with the impact nice and, as hard as I want and not worry about them, like these tiny little aluminum nuts and the, what am I doing? That's not going to fit. And the aluminum threads. It's frankly kind of pitiful that's the materials that they made it with. That's a $1,500 truck. And they used, it's standard, so I guess, I'm not going to shit on them for it. I already kind of am, but I'm going to retract that because it is standard. It is what everybody else does. But if you want to be industry leading, you got to lead the industry to something better. And they're not being industry leading, clearly. I'm trying to find my 17 millimeter. Or one of my RC removing things. Of course, there's none laying around like there always is. Ugh. Here we go. Nope. I recently got a Creighton 8S. So I rebuilt a Creighton 6S. I think I showed you guys a little bit of that. The 8S, I had to kind of rebuild a little bit of it. I bought it used, again on Marketplace. I got it for $500, so I'm not complaining. But I immediately had to take it apart, do the differential. Wow, this thing's on there. My God. I had to do the center diff right away. I wanted to do it anyways and put those hardened steel gears that I use on this one and all the differentials, and on most of the vehicles I use those hardened steel gears because they don't break. Like before the teeth chip on that, the pin rips or like the pin snaps or something else usually breaks first. I've never seen them break. So that's good in my book. All right, come on. This one is really on there. I guess I put some Loctite on this one. So the first one, I was turning it down on my lathe. And then with the second one, I decided to try using a parting tool, you know, a cutoff tool on the lathe. And it was just giving me a hard time. So I just haven't been doing that anymore. I'm just cutting it off on my bandsaw. It's just much easier. So these are a 7mm. So I got my 7mm deep right here. And I did the top last time, and then I had to take off this too. So I'm going to try the bottom this time. That might keep me from having to take the camber link or the toe link, whatever that is, off. All right. So these are what replaces the pins, and you see there's a lot of meat left on the arm. And there's a lot of meat left on even on this knuckle. They're beefy knuckles. So I can take a 5mm drill and go right through here, and it's going to still leave a lot of meat. And then the bolts that will go through there are just like the ones that I used for the main hinge pins on the 6S. They're these, like this. They're grade 12.9, and I have all different lengths that I could use for the different joints. I'm going to probably do that on all of them. On this truck, because I've gone this far with it, I may as well, you know, finish it off with all good hardware. So that was plenty to get this out. So now I just take a small flathead, pop this little pin off. And oh, by the way, so I'm not sponsored or affiliated with AMSOIL other than, like, I have a company account with them, but for like fleet vehicles and getting oils and stuff. But I mean, they make the best motor oil in my opinion, and not only my opinion, it's been tested. It's literally the best motor oil you can buy. But this metal protectant, I just had a bearing that was like almost stuck, and I just sprayed a little bit of this on it, and it freed right up. I mean, it was astonishing how fast it freed right up. This one stays in the knuckle. It doesn't come all the way out unless I take the knuckle apart, which I'm not going to take it apart. I'm just going to lubricate it inside. But the back one, when I take the back one off, everything comes out. I'll show you, because I'm assuming they're all probably going to be just as stuck from the salt water, because I drove it on the beach or driving it in the rain or whatever, or from not in the rain, but where it was wet from rainwater. And I always rinse it when I get home, and then spray it up, you know, hit it with the air compressor to dry it. But it still gets like surface rust, and the bearings get a little dried up. So just lube them up with this, and this really does free them right up. I'm going to show you on the back one so you can see it for yourself, because on these you can't really see it because that inside one isn't coming out. It'll go right back in when I put this back. But so we're going to take this apart back there and do everything back there in my machine shop. So let's go. All right. All right. So hopefully, I just started doing this hobby with the RC cars. I always did drones, and I never really did many videos on them. But I've done drones. You know, I have a bunch of DJI drones. I have a bunch of FPVs that I bought. You know, a combination of them that I bought and rebuilt, like these. And whatever, I do that with pretty much everything. But so this is my thread tapping arm, and this is where most of this is going to occur, because that's really all I need. And these are the M12 grade 12.9 bolts that I'm using, because I don't need it any longer than that. And these are the thread adapters. So this is if you strip a thread or whatever, or if you or for an application like this where you just need a larger thread from a smaller thread. So that's what I'm using. And then that gets red Loctite 277, which is very hard to get off. You definitely need heat to get this off, a lot of it, more than you're going to get by driving this. The 680 is like, you need a tremendous amount of heat. The retaining compound, it's a retaining compound. It's made not to come off very easily, if at all. But anyways, it's kind of overkill for this, because the red Loctite 277 will definitely hold. This is this can be used for like for essential automotive applications, like really important parts that need to stay together. That's what you would use. Even 270 is good. In even the lower red Loctites, but the 277 is up there. It's really strong. If you know anything about Loctite, you probably haven't even heard of 277 or haven't used it because it's too strong. So yeah, you don't have to worry about it coming out is the point. So I'm just gonna get my little ball peen hammer, tap this pin out with my little punch. Comes right out. And then, like I said, I'm not even using the lathe at this point because it's overkill. And these also, I would have to set up my collet chuck because these are not wanting to stay in the 3-jaw, and I don't really feel like changing the chucks. It doesn't need to be a perfect straight cut because I just need to keep this little lip that keeps that retaining clip. If you can see, the lip is just after the spline, and then you have a flat part, and then the threads. So right at that flat part on the outside of it, I'm cutting. So I'm just cutting basically the threads off, so that recess for the retaining clip is there, the spline is there, and even that little piece after, and then the bolt gets threaded into that. And then I cut it off the head, and then thread the other thread adapter. You'll see, and we're going to go through that now. So I'm going to take this over to my bandsaw and cut it. This is my bandsaw. Say hello. Okay. Probably better to hold it with a pair of pliers or something, but it's just aluminum. All right, here we go. Okay, now that came out. Now I'm going to run back here and just sand it down real quick, and then I'm going to remount the inside. I'll show you what I mean. This was a belt sander. It was like a little benchtop belt sander, and I took it off of the frame and the motor, and I added it to one side of my bench grinder because the motor's so much bigger and it's so much more powerful. And now I could rip right through the freaking belts because it's got so much power. So this little reaming tool, this is like a counterbore tool. I'm just going to do the inside of this with and clean that up. Okay, that's it. And then we're going to thread it. So now you'll see how the threading arm works. I'm going to put this in the vise right down there where I got a flat part to close it on. Okay, and I'm going to bring this down. Actually, I'm going to blow it off real quick from the last one. And then I'm going to bring it down and oil it. And then I'm going to start the threads. And then you want to back it out every so often to let it break the chips. There's actually a setting on here that it'll do that on its own. It doesn't need to go all that deep. That's probably more than enough right there. Let's see. But it makes perfect threads every time. I don't know if you can see inside there, but it makes absolutely perfect threads. Let me see. Are you able to see that? It's kind of hard to see if you can see it, but the threads are like phenomenal. I'll show you by showing you how this threads in. Threads perfect. Perfect. And it's dead centered. That's the important thing too. With the first one, I put it in the lathe and put this tailstock in it to center it and let it spin to make sure that it was centered, and it really is centered the first time, every time. I mean, I've never had it not be centered, but I still sometimes double check, like especially on an application like this where it's the tire that's going to be spinning on it. So put some red 277 Loctite in here, and then put this in here once and for all. It ain't going anywhere now. And then I'm going to use my little wrench to torque that down if I could find it. Here we go. All right, I'm going to put it back in the vise, and I'm going to torque it down with this. All right. Okay, that's not going anywhere ever again. All right, and then we're gonna cut the head off, and then I'm gonna smooth this out, and then I'm gonna put the thread adapter on, and we're done. Put it back. So I'm just using my cutoff wheel, which, shoot, I forgot to change the cutoff wheel on it. The wheel is like dead. It's all chipped apart. So let me just do that real quick. Okay. I need a 4mm, which I was just using, and it's out somewhere, I'm sure. Of course. Oh, I have the, oh, no, 4mm screwdriver should be right here. There we go. All right. This is my handy little cutoff wheel. It's like a pneumatic grinder, which it comes in. Oh, that thing's really in there. Let me get it better when I'm going to end up stripping this. It comes in really handy. That's it's a great tool to have. This is a 4 right there. That'll work. And my impact. That's my screwdriver bit. Where the hell did the screw go? Oh, it's on there. Oh, that's the head from the last one. Okay, not so bad, right? All right. You see, even with a brand new cutoff blade, that's only halfway through. I mean, this is, and it tears up the cutoff blades. This 12.9 grade bolts are pretty serious. All right. Now, after that, one of two things, sorry about the air compressor, but I'm using air tools. There's one of two things I could do with this to round it out. I have a tool that goes on here, which I'm going to use that this time, but I also sometimes just use the belt sander, and then I round it out with that. It works just as well. But this is a tool that's specifically made for doing this. So you put this on your drill or your impact, and it's got blades in there, and it rounds this out. So if you have one of these that's stripped, or you cut a bolt or whatever, and you need a starting thread, that's what it does. It gives you a starting thread. It rounds it out. It does a pretty damn good job too. So we'll put the thread adapter on now. And the thread adapter I took off of here is this one. Let's just test it first. Make sure I got a good starting thread. I probably need to go a little further on that. There we go. That should work now for sure. That's way rounded out. It's probably got to ream it on the first time. These are good for not tearing up the threads while you put it on there, because it's not hitting it with anything that's aggressive, anything that's serrated. It's just smooth. A little bit further. It's going now, but it sticks at that one point. we go. These threads are not very important anyways, because this is the last time you're gonna thread this on. Once it goes on, you're gonna leave this on, and this is what the nut is gonna go on and off of. And the nuts I already threaded out. They were already M12 lock nuts. I just threaded them from M12 1.75 to M12 1.5. So I'm just gonna take this back out so I can put some red Loctite on there. Now I'm going to put some red Loctite. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you get. Well, hopefully you can see me. I'm putting some red Loctite on this nut on the bolt inside, and I'm going to thread that thread adapter over it. So that's going to be on there for good. And there we go. We're going to tighten it down with this. All right, that should be good, and we're done. And there's our nut. I already threaded those, same as I did the other threads. Right on here. Nice, nice. And see, it even stays on when I'm taking that off already. I just threaded it on, and it stays on already. That stuff is really strong. When it dries, it's like impossible to move, but even now it's hard. So, what am I doing? I just need to put the pin through here, put the dog bone back in. Now, so the dog bone also has this little cylinder that has to line up. If you haven't taken these apart, that little cylinder has the hole that the pin goes through. So you got to put that in first, and then put the pin through both of them. It's not that hard, but I'm just mentioning it because if you haven't taken them apart. There we go. All right, there it is. Okay. Sorry about the compressor. We can get out of here so you don't have to listen to it now. All right, and there's our finished dog bone with new threads, steel threads that are not gonna strip and don't have to worry about them. And I mean, you can grind that down, take the end of that bolt off if you want. I mean, it just doesn't bother me. It's just gonna be the wheel on it right there. But I mean, this is a permanent fix. So screw the aesthetics. This is gonna be the strongest wheel hub on any XRT, because people are buying aluminum parts, and it's 6061 aluminum. This is not 7075 like some of the parts are. And even some of the parts that they say are aluminum, 7075 aluminum, are not really 7075 aluminum. Because 7075, when you buy a piece of stock that's 7075, the ends of it are black. And the reason the ends of it are black is because there's a chemical that they put on the end of it that turns it black, so that you know it's 7075, because 6061 will not turn black like that. So that's that I've tried it to see if some of those parts were really 7075 aluminum by doing that, and they're not. So, and some of them absolutely are, and it depends on who you get it from and all that kind of stuff. But the ones that aren't, that are advertised to be, it's really shitty. I mean, because people are paying for 7075 aluminum because it's 4 times stronger than 6061, and you're not even giving it to them. It's messed up. All right, so now I just need to seat that bearing inside, and then the bearing outside has to get pushed back down on there, but this has to seat the inside one first all the way. Is it all the way in? Nope, it's not in all the way. Let me pop that back out and see if I can get that in. I'll put this outside one in to line it up. With the dog bone and its housing. And these out drives, if you guys saw the build video from this, these are heavy duty out drives. Put this back here so that's going in straight. It still doesn't want to go in. Pop that out and try to get that bearing in on its own. I hate that the bearings are not really very accessible in here. It makes it kind of a pain in the neck. more lube in there, get this to go in a little easier. You just want to be careful on the middle part because that's where all the ball bearings are. So as long as you tap on the outer ring of it or the inner ring of it and not on the middle, because that's what holds the oil in and that's also what holds the ball bearings in place. It's just hard to get in here. And I got fat fingers from all the physical work that I do, but still, they're not small bearings. It should be able to, should be a little more accessible, but I guess it is if I take this apart, so I shouldn't be complaining. I should just take it apart if I want easier access. All right, there we go. I got it. That's almost all the way in. It'll go all the way in with this now. Where did I put the dog bone? Right there. All right, I'm going to put the outside bearing in. All right, that lubricant that I put in will definitely get it going now. All right, let's put that through. There we go. Put that in its place and then tap this down a little bit. There we go. All right, now let's put this on the spline and then I'll see if I got it all the way in. And I'll take my 19mm socket and tap this down with that. It's got to go a little bit further. And a little further because I need that. I need that little lip that holds that clip in there to retain this 24mm, whatever you call this proprietary BS thing. This thing needs to go up in there all the way. It's almost there. It's so close. I can almost get that lip. Let me do this. All these other ones just slid right on. I don't know why this one's giving me a hard time with this part. I mean, the whole thing has become easy because this is the third one I'm doing. But this one part is giving me a hard time right now and hasn't given me a hard time any other time. And now it wants to get stuck in the arm. How the hell did you get in there? There we go. All right, get up in there. You can't even really see in there. Oh, you know what? Maybe is my pin all the way through? Oh, that could have been it. It just needed to be pushed to one side a little bit. I think that's it. No, it's not. It's a little bit. It's a little tiny bit further. It's got to go. Oh, I think that's it. So close. It's so close. That's it. I guess it needed a little bit more of a love tap than that, but that came right through. Okay, where's my little... I have little pliers that are not serrated so that they don't damage anything. Where the hell did I put them? Well, I just need to push this pin on, so I guess it doesn't really matter which pliers. Alright. And then make sure that seats in its little recess. Alright. And then just put this bolt through. I'm going to ream these at a later date. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just trying to get these four done. But I'm using these nylon washers rather than the O-rings that they give you. Oh, this went from this side, right? So, and I'm going to eliminate that. It's not going to matter which side. I can go all from the same side like I wanted to in the first place, because I'm going to bore these out a little bit and use use my own hardware. I'm gonna get all the lengths and make sure that I have all the lengths right, and I have all the different size bolts straightened out and ready to go, and then I'll change them all at once. That'll be another little job to do. And I have my 7mm on here. Okay, and that's that. I'll put this wheel on, and I left the nuts in the back, of course. Okay, but that's that. So one more to go, and then this truck is done completely. Well, for the wheel hubs anyway. Next thing is just those bolts that I'm gonna replace all the hinge pins with, because those are I did high-speed steel literal hinge pins, just like the ones that were in there already. I just replaced them with high-speed steel that was almost a full millimeter thicker than the original ones on the Kraton. Excuse me. On the Kraton, and those broke a couple of times, and those were a lot thicker, and they were some pretty hard crashes. I was really beating on it. I was really romping on the thing, but it still broke. I left the freaking tool in the back. It still broke is the punchline, and that's what we don't want. I want to find permanent solutions, and when I say a permanent solution, I mean it's not going to bend or break easily. You know, like even with a reasonably hard crash, it's not going to bend or break. And I'm confident saying that with this repair, with the axles. I don't think that there's much of any tire you can put on there, or as long as you put red Loctite 277 or something very stronger than 243 or 242 or that grade of Loctite. As long as you use something strong to hold all those parts together, I don't see any reason why that's going to be coming apart at all, and why you're going to be stripping anything ever. Because these are also these are grade 8 bolts. I mean nuts rather. So and the thread adapters are also grade 8. So it's grade 8 and grade 12.9. So grade 10.9 and grade 12.9 metric grading system, hardware, all of it. And yes, it's going into aluminum, but if you do a good job threading the aluminum, and just because I have a threading arm, doesn't, like, I didn't do any of this stuff on the lathe. I was going to, and there was no need for it. It came out better by cutting it off on the bandsaw, because I didn't end up having to turn it down because it's hollow. But since it's hollow, it's better to thread into it and use the good hardware going into it with Loctite, because now it's not hollow anymore, and that strengthens it in multiple ways. And you're threading onto the harder steel instead of the aluminum like you were. So it's really making the whole system of how you fasten the wheels so much stronger. Because Traxxas didn't really make it easy on this one. But between the proprietary stuff and the these hubs, or the whatever you want to call them, that strip out wheels if you don't have it in perfectly, and that's why I'm going to machine new parts for that. I'm going to make that part could be aluminum, but I'll probably use 7075 aluminum, because it'll be a lot easier to make the spline. I'm going to have to use something like that spline made out of steel and press it through, because otherwise, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work to make it, just on the mill like that. A tool that would be good to do that, I don't have, and I should probably get one. It goes on the mill or on a lathe. I forget. I'm trying to think what the name of it is. It's a part that while it's spinning, it's also like orbitally spinning a different direction, and it makes like hex heads. stuff like that. It'll make a hole inside, but the hole will turn out to be like a hex head. You can make a certain diameter hex head, and it actually works really well. And it's definitely something I should pick up, because I would most definitely use it. So the top one works fine on the back. The back is a lot easier because you don't have the steering system to compete with. Whoops. Sorry, Duke. My dog's all sleeping nice and peacefully, and I'm throwing nuts at him. Sorry, Duke. It's okay. You lay down. It's okay. I'm not going to throw anything else at you. It's okay, bud. You go, boy. Go lay down. You go lay down, Dookie. It's okay. He's like, screw you. I know you're going to throw something else at me. This one might be a little bent in there, which means I might end up putting these bigger ones in now. I may have to do that if I start finding parts not working properly or bending already. Then I'm definitely gonna have to just do it. Am I in there? Is it that far? It can't be. Oh wow, it is in that far. It's gotta be bent. Wow, that sucks. These pins suck. They sent me garbage. Yeah, these are garbage. All right, well, I'm definitely going to be changing that. I'm going to have to change them all right now. It's not a very big job, obviously. I did this really quickly, changing these. I mean, you're just taking the pins out and putting these in. You don't even have to take the whole arms apart. You just pop the pin out and pop the new one in. I am going to have to drill each one, so it'll take a little bit longer. The other ones, there was only a couple I had to drill one side of. But yeah, these pins are garbage if they're bending already. I haven't even had a chance to really drive this all that much. Yeah, you're really bent. And I can't even see it on the other side. I have to figure out how I'm going to get that out. Let me just take this apart from the bottom for now, and I'll get those. I'm not going to put this back together with bent parts. I'm going to do it now. Wow, the bottom one's bent too. I haven't. This is the first one I'm coming into bent parts. I wonder if this one's going to give me a hard time too. Well, we're going to see. My luck, it probably will. I mean, I'm going to change them all now anyway, so I could just cut it off. It doesn't really matter. It's actually bending when I'm trying to turn it like this. Yeah, those are not hard at all. They seemed like they were good steel, but I mean, if I'm bending it, it's bending right now. I literally am just bending it like this. I mean, I'm just going to cut it like this. Then I won't have any way to turn it. Let me just try to turn it out. You're a pain in the ass. Son of a bitch. What a freaking ball breaker. Oh yeah, it's definitely bent. I can see it moving that way over there. Yeah, it don't want to come out at all. So I have to try to get a cutoff tool You know what? My air saw, the little tiny air saw blade, I can get in there without damaging anything. Hold on. I'll point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, but the air saw is like a tiny sawzall. You're going to see it in just a second here, but it comes in very handy for stuff like this because the blades are extremely small, extremely skinny, and they're sharp enough to cut metal. And stuff like this is literally what I use it for, almost always. I need a 4mm, and of course my 4mm I kind of need in this shop here and in the back. Everything under 4 I keep up here, and everything over 4 I keep back there. But the 4 is the one size that I kind of use in both places. So I'm kind of always looking for 4mm. But they are all over the place when I look. I just have to look for them. I just found one already. Okay, new blade. All right, this is the air saw. This is like a tiny reciprocating saw, a tiny sawzall. And it's powerful enough and sharp enough to cut through metal. And you just screw down the 2 set screws, one on each side. And that tiny little blade, it's very thin, goes in there and cuts like a sawzall. I'm going to turn you down so you can see what I'm doing. And let me get the air hose up here. Okay. Yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it? But it works. Shit. Bitch. Excuse my language. I need a new connector on here. This connector is a piece of shit. Get this thing lubricated so that's... There we go. So that shouldn't even be doing that, and now it won't. There we go. Oh, that was already cut. That air saw works pretty darn good for stuff like this, being so small, and it cuts really well. All right, so that's cut, and then I'm gonna cut it on this side also, because I don't know where that bend is. Motherfucker. Always run into shit like this. Always got to be something broken, right? It's a pain in the ass to fix. All right, let's tap that thing out. And then I'm going to need a 5mm drill. Of course, it's going to be bent somewhere right inside here, you little shit. You're a fucking son of a bitch. I'm going to need some kind of a... Let me take the dog bone out and do this first. I'll worry about that part after. Yeah, that really needs some lube in there. That thing's stuck in there. There we go. You see, this stuff is like unbelievable. Amsoil, man, I'm telling you, they make some unbelievable stuff. Like, seriously, actually unbelievable. It's like the quality of it is unreal. Now, this bearing's actually turning pretty good, the outside one. The inside one is actually turning well also, but I'm going to lubricate them anyway. Because this is a lubricant, but it's also a metal protectant. I mean, it's MP, metal protector. but it's also lubricates, frees rusty parts, protects against corrosion, displaces moisture. It's really and it does all that stuff extraordinarily well. It lubricates better than WD-40, better than PB, better than anything else I've ever used, frankly. So I'm going to finish the video and do this part. I'll deal with the pins after, because that's obviously going to be a fiasco. So let me just take you in the back. We'll do this last one, and I'll put this last wheel hub in, and I'm going to grab a bunch of grade 12.9 hardware. I'm going to use all socket heads. They're going to be all 4mm socket heads because they're M5 bolts. And I'm going to use flange nuts. I'll probably use locking flange nuts. I have tons of hardware here. I always keep stuff stocked like that because I use it so frequently. Flange nuts, flange bolts. I like flange nuts and flange bolts the best because it's like a built-in washer. You don't have to worry about the washer coming off. So this is my flange nut drawer, flange bolt drawer. And I'm not going to be using the flange bolts, which, no, I don't think I have the right sizes in M5. I have the long half-threaded ones, but these are M8. Those are too big, and M12. But these are the M5s in here, so these are what I'm going to be using right there. Those are M5, so I'm going to get some different lengths of them. I'll take a bunch of these up there with me, but I will use the flange nuts. So I have M5 flange nuts, and I have M5 locking flange nuts like this. I'm going to use the lock flange nuts. Those are M5 right there. So these are the lock nuts, but they're with a flange on them. So I might use a washer. I'm going to use the nylon washers in the front and the lock nuts in the back. So I'll get a bunch of these together. I'm going to make this part and put it on so you guys can see that first, and then I'll get the rest of these together. I don't even know how many I need or what size. I may end up having to cut some to the right size, but I'll just bring a whole bunch. I have some already up there too, but I'll bring a whole bunch up there just so I make sure I have more than I need, and then I'll cut them and make them with the size I need and all that fun stuff. But anyway, as far as the project I meant to show you, this is the last one. So we're just going to do the same thing over again. I'm going to tap this one out. Matter of fact, I don't even need to vise it and hit it. It's just going to pop right out. Let that pin fall out. Well, that's staying in, so that's good. All right, we're going to take this and cut it. Spin this around to the sander. All right, and I'm going to use my little countersink cleaner and clean it out. Same process, just, this is the fourth time for me, second for you guys. Just cleaning it out with this little reaming tool, countersink tool. This will actually, you'd make a countersink hole by hand. I mean, if I'm going to make the whole countersink, I'd probably use a countersink bit and just do it with the mill. But if I'm in a rush, or if it's something small and just one of them, I'll do it with that. But it's perfect for cleaning up stuff like that. It came out perfect. So now I'm going to put this in here and thread it. And I have everything else ready because when I made them, I made all four. For the nuts are already threaded. The nuts already threaded. The bolt and the other thread adapter are here already. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So my Loctite. And take our nut, our bolt rather. Threads in perfectly. That thing makes such good threads. And this threading arm was $800, I think. On Amazon, I got it. And it took, for Amazon, it was a while. It was like a week. I mean, it's not a while, but Amazon sometimes brings you stuff like the next day. So it was longer for Amazon, but not long. It was not anything to complain about. But for $800, I mean, it's worth its weight in gold. If you do a lot of threading, it is. See, it tears up. Look at the cutoff wheel. These things tear it up. These cutoff wheels are good for 2 bolts to cut. Okay, now I'm gonna do the end of this like I did with the other one. Sorry about the compressor again, but when you're using pneumatic tools, it has a tendency of turning on. I'm gonna do the end of this with this again. Gotta tighten it up again and do it pretty good. Should do it. That one thread is messed up right there. I can see it. I'm going to take this in the back. Excuse me a second. I'm going to just sand it down because I'm going to get past that thread a lot faster that way. You guys can still hear me over here. I don't know why I was saying it like that. So depending on how jagged the cut is, like that cutoff wheel, that was the second cut, so it's a lot more jagged. And these bolts are very strong, like I was saying, so it tears that thing up by the second cut. So, you know, with the sander, say I just got right past it and it's threading right on. But I'm gonna put the Loctite on and we're just about done. This is done. I'm not gonna bother putting the last wheel on right now because I gotta do all those hinge pins, all the pins on all the joints. So I'm gonna get a bunch of that hardware and do that. I will, I mean, you guys already saw what I have to do. I probably have to cut. I mean, I didn't see any other bent ones, but I didn't try them all either. I only tried the ones that I needed to get off, just to get these out. So there could be more that I didn't see. I need a shop towel. I got a little bit of grease, oil, and Loctite in here. So there could be more that I didn't see. I'm sure there probably is. But I haven't driven it all that much. But the car, I weighed the car after all the modifications I made with the motor and the ESC and everything else I did to it. It weighs 32 and change pounds with the tires and the batteries. So it's a heavy car. So it's bound to have things bend, but that's why I probably should have thought to use that type of hardware in the first place. I don't know why I didn't. Honestly, I didn't think it was necessary. I thought it was overkill. This nut, I have to rethread a little bit. I didn't get all the way through. The threads, I'm sure the threads are perfect, but I started from the other side and it just didn't get all the way through. So I'm going to swap this out. Oh, actually, I have it right here. I'm going to just push it, pass it through manually real quick. This is the M12 1.5. Oops. Let's try to catch that first thread like I had on the same one. There we go. And just pass this through, because right at the end it just has a little bit that needs to go right there. There we go. All right. Now it'll thread on nice and easy. Okay. Yeah, it will thread on easy once I go over it a couple times, but it's a little rough. I don't know why. None of the other ones were. Yeah, the threads are good. I might have a little bit of shards in there. Oh, that's what it was. There were some thread scraps in there. That's what it was. It's threading on nice and easy now. Okay, so that's all it was, just some thread scraps. That's why I have compressors with air guns all over the place, especially back here, but all through the whole shop here, because you always need them. But that's it. We'll shut this down. That's the last one. This is going back in just like I did the others. So if you guys want to do this, it's a very worthy modification to do, because this is something that's always going to strip. These are aluminum parts. They're bound to strip. If you haven't stripped them yet, keep being careful and hope they don't strip. But they probably will eventually, whether you're careful or not. If you're careful, they'll last 2, 3, 4 times as long. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who finds a better mousetrap and builds it, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm not the guy that's dainty by any stretch of the imagination. I'm an elephant in the china shop, no question about it. But when I break something in that china shop, I fix it 10 times better than it was ever made in the first place. So that's what I'm trying to help you guys do. So this is a better mousetrap for this. And I'm finding better mousetraps for a lot of parts on these RC cars ever since I've been using them, because I'm an elephant or a bull in china shop, and I beat on these cars appropriately. So I'm finding all the weaknesses and trying to find ways to fix them. So there's been a couple of things, like the hinge pins. I didn't get it right the first time. I tried and who would have thought high-speed steel that's a millimeter thicker than what was already there wouldn't be enough, but it wasn't enough. But I wouldn't have thought that, but it wasn't. And I accommodated it by using something better. And it was tough to get these in there. Honestly, it really was. It was tough to get M5 to the hole. It had plenty of meat to make the hole that big. Oh, speaking of which, I got to grab a 5mm drill. There was plenty of meat to make the hole that big, but to get a nut on the inside, it was in such tight quarters. To get that nut in there was really a pain in the neck. It really was. I think that's plenty. I just need some nuts. Some M5 locking flange nuts. Take a stack of these. All right, that should be good. Those and those and those. Okay. And then an M5 drill. Okay, 5mm. I don't want to go 5.5. I need 5. Exactly. There we go. 5mm drill. And that's that. So now I'm going to go take care of all these pins. But you guys know what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I hope that this helped you with the wheel hub situation, because I know it's going to help me. I don't think I'll ever be touching these wheel hubs again. And those parts I ordered was a waste. I'll give them to the hobby shop that I do business with and let him sell them. But that's that. So next time I do a video on the XRT, I'll show you guys how these pins worked out. But you already saw what I'm going to do. So, all right. I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good night.